are now in the arena. Welcome to Gridiron, presented by Underdog.
Whoa, whoa.
My name is Kinsey. I am your host, and joining me today, we have one of the most prolific figures in the history of sports media and the man who's never lost a debate, Skip Bayless.
Yep.
And joining us virtually because there's a crazy storm in Dallas, so his flight got canceled, and he doesn't have to lick Skip directly in the eye now. It's a little bit of a layer, so maybe there'll be less fighting. We've got Aqib, Talib.
Yeah.
The king of the quarterback breakdown and top 5 passer in the USC Trojans history is Cody Kessler.
Yes, Cody. I got it.
3-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl winning safety TJ Ward.
Yeah. Now, wait a second. I'm not buying weather in Dallas. I know you're coming to us live from Sean Payton's office. Am I right? Yeah, you are.
I'm snowed in.
No, you're not.
Dallas don't know how to handle the weather. You know what I'm saying? Once it get cold and icy, we don't do it.
Fact.
We're snowed in.
Yeah. All right.
Are you guys still going to bet on the game maybe this weekend? Still getting a little feisty?
I don't know. He's so
Of
far.
course.
Yeah.
I want some bets on this game this weekend. We'll see.
Of course.
We will see.
All right, let's get to what's happening today on Gridiron. For the first time since 2007, the Ravens will have someone other than John Harbaugh as head coach, and we will break down the Jesse Minter hire. Then Terry Pagula made some headlines during his press conference earlier this week, which was wild, and we'll discuss his surprising comments about Keon Coleman. And, of course, we're just a few days away from finding out who's going to the Super Bowl, and we're going to be diving into all of that and the predictions. So first I want to start with the Ravens because they've made a head coaching decision, and it's someone the organization knows well because he was a defensive assistant for the Ravens for 4 years from 2017 to 2020, Jesse Minter. And the man who's worked under John and Jim, so it might be an easy transition. Minter had the Chargers at a top 5 total defense in the NFL this season, and I think the Ravens might have loved that because they went and hired him. So, Aqib, give Jesse Minter a letter grade.
I give it a nice B-. I give it a nice B-, man. I love Jesse Minter's defensive scheme. You implement that scheme with the talent that the Ravens have, I think that's going to fare well. I think that's going to be a great combo. The minus, I just tell you, the minus is because I thought you would put an offensive-minded guy with Lamar just so they can be locked in for years to come. Now, say Jesse Minter does hire a great OC, Lamar get back to 2024 Lamar and everything rolling. They win the chip or AFC chip division, whatever. They have a pretty solid season. It's liable that offensive coordinator could be gone. You have to do it all over again. So I like the hire as far as, I don't know what kind of leader the guy is, but I love his defensive scheme. The defense will definitely be better. He got to hire a good OC. And hopefully he lock somebody in, hire somebody who will be locked in for years to come. Mike McDaniel would have been a good hire because I think he's not getting another shot, even though he got an interview. He's not getting another shot for the next 3, maybe 4 years. So he would have been a good hire for anybody because he's going to be locked in. But B-, I give it a B-, man. I like it.
I'm close to Lee. I got him at a C. I think it's a real average hire. I thought the idea was to get away from the Harbaugh technique, right? And you hire somebody that's a mirror image and that's really built his whole resume under the Harbaughs.
Yep.
That's problematic to me. Also, he's a great coordinator during the regular season. Like Lee said, I love his scheme. I love the fire zones and making the quarterbacks make decisions on the go. What he done with the Chargers in the last 2 years. But another thing with Baltimore is I thought we're trying to win championships and get over the hump. And in the playoffs, his defense doesn't perform too well, right? You look at it against quality teams, gave up 41 against the Cowboys, lost to the Texans, gave up a dub, but he just gave up 38 points to the Patriots this year. Last year, he gave up 32 to the Texans. Now, you may say that Herbert turned the ball over 4 times last year, but you still got to be stout on defense. You got to go out there on defense and not give up anything. And especially in those situations, you can't give up touchdowns. You have to give up 3 points. So those 3 points better add up to 12 and 18 and not 32. So I think it's a real average hire. He doesn't do too well against quality teams, playoff caliber teams, and great offense. Yeah, you can beat up on middle of the pack offenses in regular season. That's great, but this is Baltimore. We're trying to win a championship. Now, Aqib goes back to what Aqib said about the offensive coordinator. Who do you hire?
Yeah.
That's going to have a lot to do with this grade also. Like, who are you going to bring in as your OC to help you in this situation? And I talked to some of the Chargers players when I asked about him. I didn't hear he was a dog coach. I didn't hear he was a great leader. I heard he was cool, he's a good guy, and those type of things, man. Those type of things don't get shit done. You need a coach that's going to come in, demand expectations, and produce. Now, he may be a good guy, but I want to see what you do on the latter end of the season when it counts, December and January.
Yeah.
I gave him a B. I actually like this hire. I like Jesse Minter.
Okay.
He's, one of those up-and-coming young coordinators that I think does deserve a shot to lead a football team. He's had success everywhere he's gone as a DC. They won a national championship in Michigan back in 2023. A large part of that was because of Minter and that defense. You could almost say, 90% of the reason they won a national championship was because of that defense. I mean, they were number one in total defense. They were number one in scoring defense. Skip, they only gave up 10 points per game in the Big Ten, then went to the college football playoff and dominated in both of those games.
They had some horses on that defense.
They did have some horses on that defense.
When you had the best players.
You've seen defenses with good players that doesn't have a great scheme, and those things have to work hand in hand.
Agreed.
I really like Minter's scheme, and it also translates to the NFL. We saw it with the Chargers the last couple of seasons. In 2024, I know you mentioned the playoffs and some of these games where they've given up some points, but in 2024, they only gave up 17 points per game. They led the NFL in scoring defense. That shows me that there's proof in the pudding that he can have success. Now, we know he can call a defense. The biggest question to your point is, can he lead a football team? Is he a leader of men? I think he can be. I know you mentioned the Harbaughs and you're trying to get away from that, but I think that's good on your resume to have that type of knowledge in your background. You've learned from John Harbaugh. You've learned from Jim Harbaugh. You've had some good coordinators in Dean Pease, and you've worked alongside Mike McDonald, and you've worked for Wink Martindale as a DC. So even though he's a young coach and hasn't been a head coach yet, he has all of that experience and knowledge that he's gained from these other coaches that he's worked with. And then the final thing, like you guys mentioned, I think the most important factor for him is who you hire as your offensive coordinator. That's my biggest question, because Aqib made a great point. If this cycle you were worried about getting someone that's going to be with Lamar for the long term and be there for a while, well, nowadays you have a coordinator, they do a great job, they're gone in a couple of years. So I think if he goes out and hires someone that can help this offense get to that next level and work great with Lamar and bring the best or bring the most out of the playmakers around him, then it can move maybe from a B to a B plus and potentially an A. But yeah, that's my biggest question right now, is who he goes out and hires for his offensive coordinator, because his success in Baltimore is going to rely heavily upon that offense and what Lamar does the next couple of seasons.
Okay. I will admit, TJ's argument for the negative here was so powerful to me, you almost flipped my grade. I'm just sitting here thinking, should I? I gave him a B, as did you, a little bit above Aqib's, but I don't disagree with your premise, because you want to get away from the Harbaugh, and you went right back to young Harbaugh, right? You went back to the next Harbaugh. But everybody I have talked to for the last 24 hours around the league, and I know a lot of people for a long time, they just rave about this kid. And he's 42, so I don't know if you can call him a kid, but he's been...
As a coach, though,
he is. He's a kid coach, because he's never been a head coach. And that does concern me, that you have zero experience running the whole show. And yet, I keep hearing the word genius thrown around about his defensive prowess, his see it, coach it, teach it prowess. That I like it that he's a son of a former coach who for about 10 years was the head coach at the University of Cincinnati. I like bloodline coaches.
Yeah.
I like it that he did learn under two really good coaches, in Jim and John Harbaugh. And I like it that for 4 years he was on that staff in Baltimore, and he was there in Lamar's rookie year, so he got to get to know Lamar a little bit. I don't know how well you can really get to know Lamar in Minter's spot, but he did, because Lamar was running the scout team for the first half of his rookie year, so he worked a little more closely with Jesse Minter. Okay, I like all that, so I'll stick with my B, but then to all your points, obviously his calling card is defense, Jesse Minter. He has no offense in his background whatsoever. So now, to me, because your best player and most important player by far in the franchise is obviously the quarterback, now everything hinges on who you hire, who you can get to come bond with Coach Lamar. And I think that hire is now actually a little more important than Jesse Minter. I do. It's a weird dynamic because Lamar is tricky. His personality is tricky, but he's obviously a dynamic player who did not have a dynamic year because he was feuding with the head coach. So now you have to make this stick. And all last week, the runaway rampant speculation reported and across the internet was that they were going to go Anthony Weaver, obviously was the defensive coordinator in Miami, as the head coach with Cliff Kingsbury as the coordinator. And reportedly, Lamar was cool with that. I don't know if I trust that or not, but that was the report. So is Kingsbury still in the running? I know Aqib doesn't love him, but I'm a Kingsbury guy. I just believe in his ability because I watched him with a freshman named Johnny Manziel help coach him and teach him to a Heisman Trophy, first freshman to ever win the Heisman. And then I watched him with Kyler. I know it flamed out, but they made the playoffs. They actually, he got him to a playoff game and they got blown out at the Rams, but he did that. And then with Jaden Daniels, Jaden had the best rookie quarterback year ever under Cliff. So I've seen Cliff do that, and I know him and I believe in him. And so I think he would be good with Lamar because I think Lamar would respect him and click with him. So that's more key to me than even the head coaching hire. And it is kind of blah to me. It's not. Look, Aqib, you and I from the start, I wanted Brian Flores to get this job because he's a dynamo. He's a powerhouse. He's head coached before, and he would be the perfect fit for Lamar. He and Lamar would really click and bond, and Lamar would have great respect for him. I don't know what happened. Now I'm to the point where I think the lawsuit that he filed against the league is going to haunt him, and maybe that's why no owner's going to give him a shot. But that's just me. What do you think, Aqib?
If they went D coordinator as the guy, I don't see why it wasn't Brian Flores. But it wasn't Brian Flores. But back to the TJ point, I don't see why do we want to get away from the Harbaugh? If his message got stale, that don't mean every guy on his tree's message going to get stale. This is a young Harbaugh, so to speak. I like a guy being this close to both Harbaughs. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Now, I get your point about the playoffs. Now, he is giving up them buns in the playoffs. He is giving it up in the playoffs, but, turnovers do play a big part in the playoffs, man. So, I get it, but I really like him being under the Harbaughs, both Harbaugh's wings, getting his shot. So, that's why I gave him a B-.
And to TJ's point, I think it is important to note, yes, he was there from 2017 to 2020, which does carry some weight. He knows what it takes to win there. He understands expectations, and he's been a part of the AFC North. But I think he's far enough removed. He's been gone for 5 years now, even though he's been with Jim Harbaugh, that he's learned some other things along the way at Michigan with the Chargers to where he still has that fresh feel coming back. And it's not just, all right, Harbaugh taking over all over again. It's a younger Harbaugh. He'll have some different ideas. And John and Jim are both different coaches, too.
Yeah, they are.
One's defensive-minded, one's offensive-minded, one's at the college level. Now with the Chargers, multiple different organizations. So I think there is still that fresh new era feeling instead of just being, all right, well, we left from Harbaugh, now we're going straight to another Harbaugh. And still, to Keith's point, I would want some of that because he did have a lot of success and he won a Super Bowl in Baltimore. So take some of the good things he's learned, but then also, evolve and make it into your own thing, which I think Jesse Minter will do.
Okay, but what would be his own thing in that? Now, don't get it twisted. As a coordinator, you have to have the players to make. There's no guru without the guys on the field.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. Now, John, he came into that job at 45, so he wasn't much older. But he had, the luxury of having guys like Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed. There's none of those type of guys on that Ravens defense right now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I would say.
Like who?
Like Metabuke, they D lineman is
He's
Kyle
a good,
Hamilton.
deep, bro.
he's a great player. He's definitely a great
And
player.
they safety.
But
What's
all
the
around,
safety? The young bull safety is one of the top safeties in the league right now.
Kyle
he's
Hamilton.
still
Hamilton.
young as well. Hamilton is still young. He's going into his second contract coming up soon. What I'm saying is more not the ability lead, but
Right.
more the experience. That's what I'm more talking about. That leadership to help a young head coach out handle some of those, those things like that.
He got Roquan Smith. I feel like he got guys, man.
Yeah.
He got real leaders on all three levels of the defense. He got the guys in place for the defense. I think that's what he brings. His own thing is that defensive scheme is Mike Mentor's and it's unique. It's his. You know what I'm saying? It's a real matchy zone. You're gonna confuse the shit out of them quarterbacks. I feel like that's what he bringing. That's what get him a B. It's his scheme that he bringing to the team. That's what get him a B right there, man. So it just matters what he do with his offense, and it matters what kind of leader he is. That's the two things that we don't know.
Yeah, and Skip's point is finding what offensive coordinator is going to be. I wonder how much Lamar had a say in this decision. If he's obviously spent a year in his rookie decision, in
think none?
year.
Well, I mean,
Lamar ain't picked this. I guarantee you, Lamar he ain't picked this.
Well, Bisciotti said he was going to be present
Involved,
for all the
yeah.
interviews. So
Yeah, he might have
He
been
must
present
not.
for the
He
interview.
must like
Might
him.
not have been present for the interview.
Yeah, you're
Lamar picked this.
yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he had. Well, what was Bisciotti's quote? I have
he has
the
no
power.
power.
I have the
Right.
power.
Yeah.
No power.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he has a say in the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he has to have a say.
He's
in
got to
offensive
have a
coordinator.
say.
I agree with
I'm
that.
just to my point. I don't see any Hall of Famers on that defense.
Really?
Hey, maybe not yet. We'll see.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
Hamilton is
Kyle
nice.
Hamilton is
Hamilton
good.
has
I think
ability.
he's got a chance.
He has
Yeah.
great ability.
He's on the path.
Yeah,
to
he
the Hall of
is.
Fame.
He's a good
Man,
player.
But
I
we
don't know
talking
about the rest of them.
First ballot, Ed Reed.
No. But
Hey, a couple names to keep an eye on,
He
too.
might
Offensive
be.
coordinator. I think that could work well with Lamar is obviously, I like Kingsbury, too. I'm a big fan of Mike LaFleur, though, who's the OC with the Rams. You got Declan Doyle, who's the offensive coordinator with the Bears. And then you got Clay Kubiak, who's the offensive coordinator
The Niners.
with the Niners. All of those guys, although they're listed as OC, aren't play callers, but they're learning under that Shanahan tree. So now Mentor could probably convince them. I know it's a lateral move technically, but to come over there, work with Lamar, and be able to call their own plays instead of the head coach calling plays.
So how drastic is it from being just an OC and not a play caller?
Oh,
You know?
I think
Like-
it's very drastic because
yeah, it's a big
it's
difference.
one thing to prepare with guys. Oh yeah, I like that. Maybe we can do this. And then when you on the spot, it's like how drastic is it from being a backup safety to being the starting safety?
Yeah.
Bub? You tell me that. It's totally fucking different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You are the starter now. You know what I'm saying? So it's totally different to me.
I wish they would have kept Todd Monken.
Yeah,
though.
for sure.
I really do. I wish they would have kept Monken for another year. I know they had a down year this year and they had some injuries, but what Lamar did in 2023 and 2024 under Monken and what he's done for Derrick Henry, I just thought it would have been great for Mentor to have that experience, retain Monken, so you don't have to worry too much about the offense, a guy that you know would be there for a couple more years. So
Especially a
it's gonna be
healthy
tough.
Lamar.
Yeah.
If he was
and a healthy
in
Lamar.
that system, I think you're right. Yeah.
All those guys you mentioned under Sean McVay, under Kyle Shanahan,
Yep.
I think they only just sit and listen. Seriously, I don't know I don't think they have any input in the offense.
I think they help with the input with the game plan and cutting up, watching tape, saying,
Well,
hey,
maybe
what about this? What about that? And obviously, McVay and Ben Johnson and Shanahan, they had the final say.
I know, but they're
and
like
they call the
bona
plays.
fide
But they're
quarterback
also,
coaches.
at the same time, Skip, even though you're not heavily involved with calling the plays on game day, I
Yeah.
guarantee you that notepad is full of things that they're taking from
I know,
McVay
but
saying,
they're-
I like this or I might do this
Okay, so
differently.
they're like stenographers. They just take down.
But that's how, but that's at the end of the day, that's how you get your opportunity. Go from a quarterback
get
coach
better.
to an OC. That's
Okay,
how you have to learn from
I
these
got
guys
that.
to where they
But
work up the
I
ladder.
guarantee you, Lamar would not respect any of those guys when they walked in the door.
You don't know. You don't know that though. They would have to sit down, go through film, talk about what he
Maybe.
does well. This is my plan with you. This is what I see. This offense doing next year. This is what we did well. This is how we can take it to the next level. So I do think there would be some respect there because of the coaching tree they're coming from. But yeah, I'm with you. I still wish they would have kept Monken. I think he would have been great for them to keep, especially with a new head coach. But if you're going to go hire a coordinator, why not go get a guy that's been working with some of the greats right now?
So, Aqib,
I think Lamar. I think. Go ahead, Skip.
I was going to ask you. You should go before I change the subject. Go.
I think Lamar would respect it because you see what's hot in this league is those style of play, those type of offenses, man. You want to go McVay or Shanahan tree, he'll say, okay, bet we finna get this kind of run game, these kind of passes. or we going Caleb Williams offense, which is very similar to Sean McVay and Mike Shanahan.
And great run game scheme too with
great run game.
You gotta run the ball. You got to.
And then you could add a couple of 3 or 4 quarterback runs. Man, I think Lamar say, I want to run what the hot shit is in the league right now. If I can't keep monkey and run our shit, I want to run what's the hot shit in the league right now.
Okay.
Those guys may not sit there and call it shit, but I guarantee you that shit that Liam Cohen was talking about.
Yeah.
You say your defense and they can get to the perfect run. I bet you all those OCs know how to do that. That's what they learn, and all the little cheat codes and the nuances to get to the perfect play. That's what they learn. And now if they can be leaders, if they can do it on the fly when they under the light, under the microscope, if they can do it in the heat of the battle, that hasn't been determined yet.
Okay.
But some guys can, some guys can't.
All right, so explain this to me. This concerns me and disturbs me. Why are there no young black offensive upcoming coaches? None of these young hot, coordinator types. We don't have any. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. Can you explain it to me?
I can't explain this shit. They just ain't in the right rooms, man. Like Sean McVay or Shanahan or Ben Johnson, those guys got to hire one of those guys and put them in place and then let them get out there. So,
but what do you consider young?
Well, all these up-and-comers, all these potentials.
Because Robert Saleh is,
Period.
Who's that?
Robert Saleh is not
40.
black.
No, but he's not.
Yeah.
Well, he's just not.
He's not black.
Well, he's not.
And he's a
but
DC.
He is black. He is black.
Is he?
Yeah.
No, he's
I don't think Saleh. I never met a brother last name Saleh. I'm just saying. I ain't grew up with no brother's last name Saleh.
So if he like from Indonesia or something, that ain't
I
black.
agree.
Nah, man.
Okay, wait. He's actually Arab American.
Yeah, I'm talking about. Hey, look.
He's actually
black, bro.
Lebanese.
Something like
What?
That's black.
Lebanese.
Yeah,
he's Lebanese.
That's
Lebanese
African.
is
You know
black.
what?
He's
If we see a
African.
Lebanese woman walking by, we'll say, damn, that's a fine black woman. Yeah,
Shit, I don't know, man. I had to see her. I know black.
One other
It's
guy
in
I will say
Africa.
too, thrown out there to keep an eye on, and someone I know personally and I love is T. Martin. Is the quarterback?
T. Martin.
There's
He's
one.
a quarterback coach right now, though,
Okay.
with Baltimore, and he knows Lamar. He's been learning under Monken. If you're going to bring in someone new, why not consider someone that's already on your staff? I really like T. He was the pass game coordinator when I was at USC. He was a wide receiver coach.
Okay.
All 3 years that I was
Because he
there.
never gets any shine at all.
I love T. Martin, man. We were really, really close. I have nothing but respect for him and his family. Still talk to him to this day. Okay. So that's someone else to keep an eye on, too. If they want to keep that same Monken system and someone that's worked with Lamar who's been the quarterback coach, I think T. Martin would be another guy that you have to really consider.
All right, fair enough. And Aqib, one other quick note here. Does it concern you at all that we keep seeing these guys become head coaches who have no playing background whatsoever?
Yeah, I was about to get on that.
Were you?
Yeah, go ahead.
That bothers you?
I mean, it definitely bothers me because, man, it's a fast track. They're coordinator here for a year, coordinator there for a year, coordinator here for a year, come in with the best players. They might be top 5, and all of a sudden they're head coach. And you got players, and I'm speaking specifically like, we talked about, what's the Vikings DC? Flores. You got Al Harris in Chicago, what he did in Dallas with the DBs and what he did in Chicago. He's still a DB coach. He ain't even got he's trying out for a coordinator right now. And all these guys get looked over.
Yeah,
We've played the game for it.
So Jesse Minter. Go ahead, Aqib.
I'm saying I love Al, you know what I'm saying? He created a lot of turnovers, but they was back of the pack in passing defense. Like they wasn't that good for him to be at the front of the list for a DC job. I just don't think so.
I mean, if you're creating the most turnovers, two different secondaries, you got league leading in interceptions. You bend, you don't break. Every defense is not about yards, it's about points, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes. But you look at, I got the league leading interceptor in Kevin Byard this year. Look at what I did with Diggs in Dallas.
He did.
11 picks. Now Diggs is shit.
Yeah.
What he doing now? So,
fair.
even Nashawn.
I think he almost there. I think his name is starting to get hot, and Al's name is starting to, catch wind. He come out and he have a defense that's the number 1 passing defense, and we getting turnovers. Boom, that's it right there. He'll be the next hot guy.
Okay, but we really have to talk about Minter. Minter, right? What group has he coached? He's coming up so fast,
Yeah.
What group has he coached to doing anything prolific?
He had that Rams group after they won the chip. You know what I'm saying? I think he had the Rams group. That was pretty good. Yeah, he had some good defenses. The Chargers was pretty good.
They were.
Yeah.
Okay.
He won the chip.
But
like you said, he won. Yeah. He had a group in Michigan. They won the chip.
Yeah.
So,
you had the best corner in the country in Michigan. You step in, like you said, the groups. You got Derwin James over there. You got these guys gonna be great with whoever they with. That's all
no, they wasn't. The Chargers wasn't that great before he got there.
They weren't. They were not. Yeah, Aqib, my point about Jesse Minter is he played allegedly wide receiver at a place called Mount St. Joseph University outside of Cincinnati.
What do you mean allegedly?
Well, because I can't find any stats on it.
We don't know if he really played.
I don't even know if he played.
We don't know if he really played.
Okay, but it's D3. So my point is, he came from nowhere except his father was the head coach at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
That got his foot in the door, and he was off to the races.
But you know the quote. You can't play your coach.
Hey, Coach. I mean,
Or you teach. Right? Same thing.
To answer your question, Skip, I don't care if the guy played or if the guy didn't play, because I mean, sometimes players play, man. A lot of players not gonna put in the time that coaches put in.
Yeah.
And they like. I look at it like, man, the coaches are the assistants of the players. Like, I'm gonna play. I need you to do all the fucking research, go find all the plays they run, put me in the right spot, then I can actually do what you need me to do. Like, you got to do all the work, technology and the studying and stuff, and then I just go learn what you tell me to learn, take the test. Boom. So all players is not built like that, man. So I don't care. Not all players make good coaches. Not all coaches make good players. I feel like they just two totally different things, and you don't have to be a player in order to be a coach. Now, there's some players who make damn good coaches. You know what I'm saying? Like Aaron Glenn, I felt like his knowledge of the game at DB made him a damn good defensive coordinator. The attitude he brought and everything made him a damn good defensive coordinator. But shit, Wade ain't play.
No.
Wade just grew up as a coach, and Wade was a damn good coordinator. You know what I'm saying?
Well, his father was a damn good coordinator.
I think you're speaking more to the opportunity, not the ability.
No, I understand. Right? Yep.
All right, well, let's move on a little bit because Aqib's got his Broncos jersey on, so I think I know what direction you're going in, but we got to get to some game picks, okay? Because we've been talking nonstop, obviously, about the Bo injury, and that changes everything for this Patriots game. But as Aqib said the other day, Patriots are 0-4 in the playoffs in Denver. So will that change on Sunday? Is Stiddy going to show out for the Broncos and upset the Patriots?
No.
So after announcing the Bo Nix injury last week, Peyton was quick to show his faith in Stidham. Let's check it out.
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready. Like I said this at the beginning of the season. I feel like I've got a two that's capable of starting for a handful of number of teams, and I know he feels the same way. So watch out. Just watch.
Yeah, just watch.
He said that last Saturday right after the game when he made the announcement.
He feels confident in them. Keep. I think you feel confident in him. What Broncos, Patriots, what's the score? What do you have?
I feel confidence in our defense. You know what I'm saying? That's how you win chips. Stiddy gonna do what Stiddy do. If our defense don't come out and light this shit up, we ain't gonna win. But I think our D-line and our defense do come out and take over this game. I think we stop the run. First of all, that's gonna be first and foremost. They run the ball pretty solid. We gonna have some nice run blitzes. Boom, hit them gaps, man. Stop this run. Our defense gonna create 3 takeaways. We got this turnover train rolling. Woo, 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 woo.
Yep.
We got this turnover train rolling. Whether it's sack fumbles, whether it's tip balls or pressure to create errant throws that lead to interceptions, it's gonna be 3 turnovers. I love our DBs matched up with these wideouts. Van's gonna be very creative. You know, I'm be on that line. He's gonna be very creative how we come out and do this shit. Just watch. We gotta guard these running backs out the backfield because that's something that they do well that we need work on. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be conscious of these running backs out the backfield. And I think we come out and do very solid on defense, and that's how we win the game. But on offense, the return of Luke Weidenberg, our center, and the return of J.K. Dobbins, that's going to have our run game back to where it was weeks 1 through 10 when we averaged 128 yards per game and was ninth in the league. When we averaged 4.8 yards a carry and was 8th in the league. This is the first time that we had those 5 guys on the O-line since week 10. You know what I'm saying? So I see our run game getting back to where it was because we got all our guys healthy. And then City gonna have great command of the offense. That's one thing I can tell you he will do. He will make a couple big time throws. He will have command of this offense, and we will win this game 20-16 because our defense gonna come out and dominate.
Wow.
20 to 16. Love it, Liam.
You're going to hold them to 16?
Watch what I tell you. They're gonna have a great plan for Nick and little arms over there at that left tackle.
Yep.
They're gonna give him all the help they can get, right?
Okay.
And Van Joseph just gonna dial that shit up. Y'all got all y'all help over there? Watch the blitzes coming from the other side. We're gonna make you lead that boy by himself over there.
How many?
Great rush plan. We're gonna control that quarterback running.
Yeah.
We're gonna see why. This gonna be one of our best performances of the year, Skip.
How many times does Drake May cough it up to you?
2.
He gonna have 3 turnovers. I don't know if it's gonna
3.
be picks or fumbles, but
Wow.
we gonna create 3 turnovers for sure.
All right. Okay. You want to pile on?
Yeah, I'm gonna pile on while we at it. You know, I
got the Bronco boys
got a dog
today.
palate. To piggyback, another thing is why the Patriots are 0-4 when they come to Denver is that altitude. The altitude and that noise.
You boys.
Them third downs is going to be hell. Don't even try to go for it on 4th down because you're not going to be able to hear the snap count. It's going to be hell. That crowd going to be going crazy. And we just used to beating the Patriots at Mile High. That's just what it is. We're going to get to May. You see how the Texans got to his ass last week. Sacked him 5 times, 4 times he fumbled, only recovered 2.
Yep.
We're going to get them recovered. We might recover 3 or 4 of those. He going to throw a pick. We got to run the ball.
Wait, so now you have Drake May for 5 turnovers?
Look, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Hey, that's definitely a defensive winning performance.
Are you trying to speak it into existence? Is that what
Look,
you're
it's
doing?
not impossible. It's what I'm telling you.
You did.
That's what I'm telling you.
I did last week.
Yeah.
And running the ball, like Lee said, we got JK back. We got a couple receivers back.
Yeah.
We got our center back.
You do.
Get on top of these boys early. Get on top of the Patriots early. Drake May is not known from playing from behind. They like to control the clock, control the ball with the run game, and play real nice and comfortable, not having to do too much, not having to use, too many resources. Now, last week, he threw the ball up a couple times and was efficient, scored 4 touchdowns, right? That was a great game for him. I don't see that happening against our secondary, especially with our pass rush, PS2 over there, Riley Moss. I think, like Lee said, we match up terrific against their receivers. Stopping the run. Our linebackers are downhill. Now, we could get a little better in the pass, but what they want to do is control the clock and control the flow of the game. And our linebackers coming down, hitting people in the mouth. Singletary had that huge fumble that set the tone for us against Buffalo.
It was a game
set the tone.
Yeah,
and
they're going in for 14
exactly.
at that point.
Turnover just continued to happen. Now, the Patriots have been playing a little better against the run, but let's keep it real. They've been getting up 100 yards a game in that front, as dominant as people are saying that they've been stopping the run lately. But, we get back to running the ball and don't give up on the run. A lot of teams give up on the run when it gets late in the game. We can't give up, i.e. the Chargers, right? They gave up on the run. I don't think they should have gave up on the run. And Coach Sean Payton's not going to do that. So that being said, I have the score 23-17 Broncos.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neither of you
convincing.
very convincing with your score pick.
You know what? It's still a playoff game.
Playoff time,
Tight
baby.
game.
It's the championship, man. It's the AFC Championship, the
just
best
win.
of the best.
I mean, you guys just beat that orange drum, and then you get to the final score, and it's like a 3 or 4 point game, and I'm like, that's it?
Great win.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is the playoffs, okay?
Okay.
Cody, I know you're switching, but you are good friends with Stiddy, right?
I am good friends with Stiddy. I just
Cody's
talked to
good
him.
friends with everybody.
He is.
Good friends.
Yeah, every quarterback, that's
Hey,
his
I
job.
know my people, Aqib. I know my people.
Thought
you
I
know,
was plugged in. God damn, Cody.
Hey,
Okay, but you
when you
did-
bounce around as a backup, you get to know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
How do you know Jared Stiddy?
So me and Stiddy were in New England in 2019, which was Tom's last year. We
Yep.
were there together. We spent a lot of time together.
And
man.
you
I
got
really-
there right
So I spent camp with Philly. I got hurt and then signed with New England when season started.
Okay.
So I didn't get to do camp with them. But yeah, throughout the regular season.
City was a rookie.
City was a rookie.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a rookie. He was behind Tom Brady. Me and him were both backups. He's a good player, man. I got to watch him do scout team. We would every night after meetings would get over, myself, Stiddy, and Nick Lombardi, who's now with the 49ers, we would stay late and go over the game plan and the script and all these different things because I missed camp, so it was my first year in New England, and Stiddy obviously being a rookie, we were trying to learn all these new things. But yeah, man, he's a good player. I hope he plays well, but with that being said, I still think that New England wins this game. I have the Patriots winning. If they're going to win, though, there's a couple things they have to do. The first, and you guys already mentioned it, they have to protect the football. They have 5 turnovers in their last 2 playoff games. Now, one of them was an interception on a Hail Mary at the end of the half last week, but they have not been great with their ball security. There could easily have been some more. So they've got to protect the football. Denver, during the regular
4 from Drake May last week.
Yeah. And they only recovered 2 of them, but it could have been more. He has 6 fumbles overall in these last 2 playoff games. So he's got to be better, not only in the pocket, but also when he takes off and run. They're going to try to be punching that football out. But Denver this year, during the regular season, as good as they weren't a huge takeaway football team. They only had 14 takeaways during the regular season. But last week against Buffalo, that was obviously a point of emphasis. They got 5 takeaways in that game, 4 of them on Josh Allen alone. He fumbled 3 times. They took away 2 of them. And then they had 2 crucial interceptions. Yeah, Bonito, that's the guy you got to watch. That's going to be one of my key matchups, too, on my next point. Bonito and Campbell on that left side. But with that being said, Drake May has to be great this week with his ball security. He has to be great when he's running, has to be great in the pocket. Got to have that timer in the back of your head that someone's coming off the backside. Even when you step up, be ready to move it to your left shoulder plate to avoid those hands swiping as they come by. But also his accuracy. That's something he excels with. But this secondary for Denver, you guys know, is no joke. And it's not just Pat Surtain. It's this entire unit. Now, they're not quite the no-fly zone that these guys were a part of, but damn it, they show flashes of it, and they showed flashes last week. Drake May has to be great with his decision-making, timing, and his accuracy. If you float the ball down the middle of the field, those safeties cover space. They'll go make a play on it. If you underthrow a go route, if you're late on a comeback, if you throw it inside on an out-breaking route, at least they're going to knock it down, and then they might take it away and go the other way. So Drake's got to be great with
Josh Allen underthrew both the interceptions.
Yes, he did, Skip. And that first one floated on him.
He had a little pressure on him, Skip.
Safety made a play.
He had internal pressure on him. He was choking. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Choking.
Well,
he had a
seen
couple
all year that Josh Allen
he did have a couple
against
misses.
really difficult
but this
defense.
isn't a defense that you can miss against. This isn't a secondary that you can miss against because the difference of an underthrow is an interception that changes the game, or you catch it and now you're kicking a field goal to win the game, or it's an explosive play, but now you underthrow it and it's a turnover. So you can't do that against this defense.
Yeah.
The second thing they have to do, and probably most important, they have to protect Drake May. They gave up 47 sacks this year on May. That was 4th most in the NFL. Denver has the best pass rush in the league. They're having a historic year getting after the quarterback. So far in the playoffs, too. Drake May has 66 dropbacks. He's been sacked 10 times, and they've had 31 pressures. He's almost getting pressured 50% of the time when he drops back. Yeah. I don't anticipate, too, you guys talking about getting the ball to the backside of the backfield. I don't anticipate a lot of 5-man pass pro this week. I think Josh McDaniel is going to have to get to that 6-man pass pro, that 7-man pass pro with a tight end or a running back to help out on the left side, especially with those 2 rookies with Wilson at guard and you have Campbell on the outside. Yeah. He's going to have to get some slides with the back going to the C gap.
He's really talented.
He's talented, but you're playing against this. You haven't played the Broncos yet in this pass. I like him, though, Skip. I think Josh McDaniels does a great job of protecting his guys. He's going to get some chips, some help with Campbell on the outside, and then he's going to let the other guys win some one-on-ones. But that's what Vance Joseph does. He can win with pressure. He can win with the 4-man rush. He's going to continuously put his guys in positions to win and create one-on-ones. You're going to have to win some of those one-on-ones. And then the final thing defensively, for them to win this game, the Patriots have to stop the run and get pressure on Jarrett Stidham. If they stop the run, that forces Denver to become one-dimensional, and it puts more pressure on Jarrett Stidham to have to go out and maybe throw it 30 to 40 times and get a little uncomfortable. And then that pass rush can pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. Because Stiddy, I love him, but when you get pressure on him, sometimes it makes it a little more difficult. But if he can sit in the pocket, and I went back and watched his 2 preseason games on tape against the Cardinals, against San Fran, against some other teams too when he played with the Raiders. If he can sit back there and play 7-on-7 and go from 1 to 2 to 3 and go through progression, he will pick you apart. He has one of the best arms, I think, in the NFL with his arm talent, and he also is really good with his accuracy. So he can make all the throws on the field.
So you think he's a top 5 arm talent guy?
I don't know if I say top 5, but if you went up there, I wouldn't say top 5. I wouldn't say top 5, but
He's
I'm saying if you put him out there with shorts and a T-shirt and he's throwing with some of these other guys, he could keep up absolutely. He's got a great arm. He's got a really strong arm, can make all the throws down the field, intermediate, short routes. But, yeah, like I said, if they can get pressure on him,
I've made the point that Jared Stidham, when I watched him at Baylor and Auburn, he ran like crazy.
Yeah, he can take off.
Right, wasn't he a top?
He's going to run a little bit.
Yeah, he's not getting enough credit as an athlete, because when coming out of high school, I think he was number 1 dual threat quarterback ahead of Kyler Murray, I think. So he can run.
Kyler.
He can move a little bit.
So let me get this straight, Cody. So you like the Patriots to protect Drake.
Yep.
And they ain't protect him all year. And then you like the Patriots to get pressure on the Broncos, and we ain't got no pressure all year. So you like it to just voila.
I think this game, I think Vrabel's going to have a great game plan to get pressure on Jarrett Stidham. Also, you've had Bo Nix all year who can avoid some of those rush. You know, I mentioned that Stiddy's an athlete, but Bo Nix does a good job of getting out of the pocket. Some of these free rushers he can make miss. We haven't seen Stidham do that. He hasn't started in 2 years, so who knows? But then offensively, too, I think this offense for the Patriots matches up well against this defense. I think they will have a great game plan in their pass protection to help out some of these tackles. And I think they will take some shots. We saw what they did against the Texans. I know Drake May has struggled a little bit with his accuracy in the playoffs, but 72% for the majority of this season, pushing the football down the field, and he dropped some dimes last week against the Texans. I think he'll find some big-time plays down the field. I just don't think it will be continuously. You got to make them when they present themselves.
Man,
got it.
I like your argument there, Lee, because the Broncos have one of the best offensive lines in the league, so they're going to protect.
No, I agree. Bo gets you also have out of trouble a lot.
You also, and I love Stidham, so I'm not going to sit here and knock him, but you have a quarterback who's playing for the first time in 2 years. So that's going to add a different element to it, to where he's not as comfortable. Yeah, practices are great and scout team and doing all those things. With live bullets flying, sometimes if 1 or 2's not there and you're not used to playing in this scheme, normally you can hold on the ball a little bit longer, try to make a big play. So it's going to give them more opportunities to get home.
What have you seen from Stidham's mental game? Is he a calm guy?
Yeah, no. He's confidence. He will have a ton of confidence. I don't think this offense is going to change a whole lot either. I don't think they're going to come out and try to protect him. I think they're going to come out and let it rip, because when Stidham plays in rhythm and he's pushing the ball down the field, he's a damn good football player, man. I really like him.
He's going to come out and let it rip, brother. I promise you that.
He will. And I texted him on Tuesday and said that. I said, hey, put those blinders on, go let it rip. And he said, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Did you tell him when you text him, did you tell him you think he going to lose?
No.
He didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, Lee, encourage Steve like a mud.
No.
Encourage. Hey, come on.
I want to see Jared do well. I think he plays well, but I still think New England wins. They're a good football team. It's 2 good football teams. I have it 21-17 Patriots. I think it'll be close, but I think New England with Vrabel and Drake May, they're going to find a way to get the job done.
Did you know that he has as many 300-yard passing games as Drake May?
You just said yourself earlier.
I'm just saying.
Yards don't always mean everything.
Saying.
Points and
It be your own brother, Stiddy. Put him on your list.
I know. You hear this, Stiddy? You hear it? Don't block him.
Because don't do that for Sam Darnold.
We're supposed to get dinner and meet up when he gets out to Orange County this offseason too. He's gonna ghost me now.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you give the score?
21-17 New England.
21-17 New England.
I think Jared plays well though. I still think Jared comes out, plays well. He proves that he can be a starter elsewhere.
Jared plays well,
but New England gets the job done at the end.
I'm gonna let you.
So you're rooting for Stiddy, but you're picking.
I'm rooting for Jared to play well. But I was a Patriot too, man.
Yeah,
I was in New England. So
you see, he got the navy blue Patriots hat on. You ain't peep the navy blue. I peep.
One other factor too, before you go, Skip. No one knows Stiddy better right now. You could argue Peyton than Josh McDaniels, and he knows day in and day out with those practices, both in New England and with the Raiders.
Fair point.
What he does well, what he doesn't do well, what pressures he can handle, what pressures he struggled against. Pass change and protection, doing these different things. Throwing to the left, throwing down the field, things that he did well, things he struggled with. I promise you this week, McDaniels is in those meetings with the defense saying this is the full breakdown on Stiddy.
Yeah.
So McDaniels is in the defensive meetings. Who the fuck in the offensive meetings get ready for the best D in the league?
Bro, there's 12 hours in a day when you're in those meetings.
That's a lot of responsibility.
The coaches are there.
Who getting that offense who just turned the bitch over 4 times? Could have been 7 times. Who getting that offense is in that protection ready for this?
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about when you're playing a former teammate.
Don't got no time for that shit. He tell Vrabel, listen, bro, I'll send you a text message on what I got. That's all the time I got.
There's plenty of time for that. And it doesn't have to be with the players. It can be when everyone's out of the facility. They go home. I'm going to sit down with Vrabel. I'm going to sit down with some of these defensive coaches. This is what you need to tell your guys. Obviously, when the players are in the building, he's with the offense, but don't act like they don't have meetings afterwards when everyone leaves. The coaches go till 2 a.m.
Every minute he's spending on helping Vrabel, he's not spending on helping Drake. Simple as that.
All right.
Okay, my turn. So I've heard two completely biased orange psycho picks from two guys who won a championship playing for the Denver Broncos.
Voodoo picks.
I have heard voodoo luck picks from you for about 2 months now. And I got one fairly objective pick from Cody that was with the 4.5-point favorite, New England Patriots. Okay, I'm going to confess, this game, and trying to figure it out, makes my head hurt and makes my stomach ache because this game is a mind blower to me. Both these teams are overrated to me because both of them have big fatal flaws involved. And I'm going to start with your Broncos. You realize in the history of professional football, what's happening with Jarrett Stidham has never happened before, where you throw a quarterback who's never been a long-time starter into the championship game with all the marbles on the table to go to the Super Bowl, and people say, oh, Roger Staubach is the greatest Cowboy quarterback ever. In 1972, the first game that he started in that year was in the championship game. He had won the freaking Super Bowl the year before. He just got hurt. He was hurt all year, and he finally got healthy in time for the championship game. Don't give me that. That doesn't, you don't talk about a huge apple to a bunch of orange crushes. That's, okay, that just.
I like that, Skip.
Okay, so. Then we go Nick Foles. Okay, so he got thrown in late in the year for Carson Wentz, but he got to play the last 2 regular season games, and then he got to play all the way through the playoffs, and he had made a Pro Bowl before for Philadelphia. He'd made the Pro Bowl. He led the NFL in passer rating the year he got to the Pro Bowl, and had started 36 games before that. That has nothing to do with Jarrett Stidham. So Jeff Hostetler did win the Super Bowl for the Giants back in, it's way back in 1990, stepped in for my friend Phil Simms, but there were 2 games left in the regular season, so Jeff Hostetler got to play 2 games, and then he played through the playoffs into the Super Bowl that they barely won over Buffalo 20-19 on the wide right field goal that missed at the end. Okay, Jeff Hostetler played very well. He just game managed, and he played 5 straight games without a turnover. Okay, so that's how he did it with a Lawrence Taylor-led defense. You guys don't have Lawrence Taylor. Don't tell me Nick Bonito is Lawrence Taylor, all right? So you didn't have the equivalent of the Giants' defense that year. All right, here's my problem with your defense. I'm going to say this again going into this game just because I get completely screwed up because both you guys have just spewed orange all over me all year, and so I lose all objectivity about the Broncos. But I'm not going to let go of the fact that since the bye week, your defense has basically sucked. That's the truth. That's the God's truth. Since the bye week, which was what, week 13, is late November, you're 14th in points allowed. You like that? And you keep telling me you're the best defense. What are you talking about, best defense? I can't see it. I'm looking at game after game. You went to Washington against the backup quarterback, Marcus Mariota, on Monday Night Football, and you allowed 419 yards, and he converted all 3 of his 4th downs and 11 of 20 on 3rd and 4th down.
And we won that game on defense.
You barely won that game. Then you did
on defense.
Yeah. Then you beat Green Bay, and you gave up 6 yards a pop. So every play they ran, they averaged 6 yards a pop. But they lost Micah and they lost Christian Watson, and you've somehow survived. And
they did nothing in the second half on offense.
Right.
We completely shut their ass out the whole second half.
Okay. And then Jacksonville goes in there, and I watched Buffalo beat Jacksonville at Jacksonville in a playoff game, but Jacksonville goes to your place, and they put up 34 on you, and they were 8 of 15 on 3rd down and 4 of 5 in the red zone. And you're telling me you got the best defense in pro football?
That was our worst game of the season.
I can't see it. I can't.
That was our only bad game of the season right there.
All right. And then I watched Josh Allen go in there by the way, the last 2 games of the regular season, you got to play 2 backup quarterbacks. And
we completely mobbed their ass. One had 57 yards back.
Yeah. Okay, and I watched Josh Allen last week go for 449 total yards and go 10 of 15 on third down. Your defense is gettable. Again,
what did you watch Josh Allen do after the game, Skip?
He cried.
And what did he say?
He cried like a little baby. That's what he did.
What did he say? What did this defense? They make him cry at the podium, and they made him say what? What did he say, Skip?
Because he knows he gave the game to you.
That's what he did.
Yeah,
we took the ball from his ass 5 times.
Okay. He gave it to you at the end of the half. That was just a careless loaf of bread fumble. That's what that was.
We took it. If you say he gave it to us, I say we took it.
Okay.
I say that too.
And he had 2 underthrows, as Cody so carefully pointed out.
Yeah.
On both the interceptions, they're just terrible underthrows that allowed you to get back into the play and take the ball away. I credit you for doing that, but then Josh missed Dawson Knox at the 5-yard line with 5 seconds left. It's just, hey, help me out. You saw
on the
it?
crosser route, yeah.
I mean,
he had a little pressure in his face, so I don't think he could finish his throw.
He had pressure. That boy was coming from behind.
If you can't, as a quarterback, if you can't extend, I need you to extend.
That thing back.
You can't extend. That's where it sails a little bit. But
is he
you're Josh
Superman?
Allen.
Is he Superman?
Exactly. You got to make that throw,
Help
man.
me out.
You got. No, I agree, Skip. You got to make that throw. To your point, though, I would argue the same thing. That doesn't concern you a little bit that you created 5 takeaways and still gave up 30? You limited possessions and they still put up 30 points in that game.
That's a great point. But guess what? We're not playing Josh Allen. We're playing Drake May.
You're not, but Patriots
and we ain't seen Drake May perform nowhere near Josh Allen.
But New England's offense averages more points per game than they were right around. I think they were 3rd in the NFL in points per game this year, just behind Buffalo.
But we talk about matchups, right?
They're right up there with them when it comes to production on offense.
And then let me flip it to New England. They beat one team with a winning record during the regular season. That's not their fault, but that's what happened. That's the fact.
Fair.
They beat one team with a winning record, and it was Buffalo, who then went to their place to get revenge, fell behind 21-0, and went on a 35-10 run to end the game and win the game at New England.
Yeah.
That scares me for New England's sake. And then Drake May, as well as he played all season long, I'm looking at 2 playoff games at home, and he put the ball on the ground 6 times in 2 games. 6 times, and he threw a pick in each game. Well, he's very lucky that they recovered 3 out of the 6, or we might be having a different conversation about the Texans or somebody, right?
That pick against the Texans, though, was a Hail Mary at the end of the half.
Yeah, that was a Hail Mary. Okay, I'll give you that.
It counts, but that's that you have to throw.
Trying to
that's
give
not
money.
a bad decision.
Okay, and
you should have put more arc on it.
Okay.
And put more arc on it and make it unpickable.
All right.
Underthrew it.
And then New England's defense. It got to play Justin Herbert, and it got to play C.J. Stroud at home. I'm not a Justin Herbert guy. We're about to talk about him in just a moment here. But you got to play him, and he was a disaster in that game. And you can say you turned him into one, but every game he's played in the postseason, he's 0-3. He's been a disaster. So you got to play him. And then C.J., he's been pretty good in playoff games until this year, and I don't know what happened. It's like he got kidnapped. I don't know what happened.
Monstars.
Yeah.
Seriously. Didn't they take him? Did they take him?
Put his hand on the football?
Yeah.
He played in 2 very, very tough places to play, man.
No, I understand.
Then he played in New England. They'll make you play like that.
Okay.
That's what those kind of atmospheres, i.e. Mile High, they make people just play out of body. You know
Okay.
It's just different.
All right. But still, it's hard to gauge the New England defense when you got to play against those quarterbacks playing at a very low level at that point, right?
Right.
Okay. So now I get back to Drake May. In the end, this is his game to lose because he should be better than Jared Stidham, as much as I respect all of his capabilities.
Yeah.
If you haven't played, you haven't played.
That's fair.
And to get thrown into this game, it's never happened before. So the pressure is extreme. Do I love Sean Payton in this situation? I do. I'll give you this, because I think Sean is just rubbing his hands together. I think he would get more satisfaction out of winning with Jared Stidham than even with Bo, because it's what Sean loves to do.
Yeah, he's like, it's my system.
This is what he does. This is the ultimate challenge. Can I show you that I can take my backup who hadn't, what did he throw, 4 passes all year in garbage time against my Cowboys? So he hadn't played the whole year.
No.
And he started 4 games in his life, and it's the AFC Championship game, albeit at home, and suddenly you flipped around. You would have been a 3-point favorite probably, and now you're a 4.5-point dog just because of Jared Stidham. So I have to start, like what's the percentage that you'll lose? From Bo to Stiddy, will you lose 10%? Will you lose 20%? It's somewhere in there that you're going to lose. I don't care. Even Aqib admitted to me the other day, you won't be quite as good with Stiddy. You can't be.
No, that ain't what I admitted.
Yes, you did. No, you said. I asked you, will you be as good with Jared Stidham? And you said no.
Do I like the offense better with Stiddy? And I said, of course not. I like the offense better with both. But we don't know. Stiddy may come out and be a fucking all-pro and be the hottest commodity in the market in April. We don't know what's going to happen.
Want to bet?
Yeah. Shit, just a few. All season, Bo wasn't shit. Right?
Yeah.
You turn TV on, ESPN, Bo ain't shit. It's the defense. Bo can't get nothing done. We hindered by Bo.
Okay, but time out.
Oh, shit.
Time
what
out.
we gonna do without Bo?
But time out. He was the shit against Buffalo.
Oh, he sure
Am I
was.
right?
He was.
He was the.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the game of his life, right?
Yeah.
He was the,
He
right?
was.
He's never played better. He is the reason you beat Josh Allen.
That throw to Mims.
Oh, it
on
was
that
beautiful.
Flop fade.
It was
But look, and that's another thing.
In that moment, man, I can count maybe
This is
one
a
hand.
team
guys
against
doing
the
that
third
throw.
string corner.
Complete
It was
effort.
because Trey went out. I
What
think
about
right.
Malik Willis?
But still, to put that ball, the placement
beautiful.
there on that throw, man, no, I can't take away from that one. That was big.
Hey,
time.
we seen the Ravens quarterback come in and get them to the playoffs. I mean, get them in a situation where they could go to the playoffs. We seen Malik Willis come in and play outstanding. Didn't we?
And beat the Packers, right?
We just watched them guys. Now, them probably be 2 of the hottest commodities in free agency because what they came in and was able to do. Now, we just going to say Stidham just can't do nothing? Like,
I mean, look at Mac Jones. What
No,
he did
and
with
to
Niners
Skip's
off-
point,
Mac Jones came in, played out his mind, ain't lose a game type shit. So, I mean, what we talking about? It's possible, Skip. It's possible for a backup quarterback to come in and play well. We've seen it 3 different times this year.
Yeah, the Texans.
Texans.
I think it would have been better for the Texans to have the
That's the
backup
reason they in the
because he
playoffs.
would have protected the ball.
3 game Davis. I would have played Davis.
Aqib, what do you always tell me? The playoffs are different.
They
The
are.
AFC Championship game is different.
And I'm gonna tell you what else different. It's different when Bill Belichick draft you. Then Josh McDaniels leaves and go to the Raiders.
He did.
He must have you.
Yeah.
He gotta have you. And then for some reason, Sean Payton, he gotta have. He cash you out. I want him. He gotta have you. Make you the highest paid backup in the league. That's different too, Skip. It's the reason they doing that because he different.
Yeah.
Okay.
If them 3 trust you,
Yeah, we need to get your
I'm
You
getting
feel
there.
me?
I'm getting there.
Feel
I'm
me,
getting
bud?
there.
because I'm excited for the conclusion.
Okay. I'm still going back and forth in this in this moment.
Really?
I'm still not sure which way.
Really?
come on,
Okay,
Skip.
but-
Come on. You know what you want to do.
Skip.
You know where your heart is. You can't fight it.
The final variable is I look at what Drake May did do throwing the football in the 2 home playoff games.
There you go.
And it was really good.
Really good.
There you go.
Okay, he did that, especially against the Chargers defense. He threw for 268, and that impressed me. Against the best defense in pro football, the Texans, he made 4 or 5 throws. Even you said the other day, he got buckets on them, right?
He did. He went right at their ass.
Yeah, he went at their ass and took their ass all the way to the end zone 3 different times and threw 3 touchdown passes in that game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say it's his game to lose, and I'm going to say if he turns it over 1 time, he'll win. If he turns it over twice, it'll go to the buzzer. And if he turns it over, like you say, 3, 4, 5 times, they definitely will lose the football. Bless you. You're sneezing at my argument, right? Yeah.
Don't ever interrupt me. Don't ever interrupt me with no sneeze.
Yeah. Okay, so I just think that Drake May will be good enough to beat Jared Stidham. That's what it's going to boil down to. And again, I picked against your voodoo luck time and time again, but just to nail it down and to drive it all home, I will bet you one more dinner, and I'll take the visiting team. I'll take Drake May, baby Drake, that you say is just a baby in this league. I'll take him at Denver because I still think your defense is gettable, and he will get you enough to win this game.
A score?
Yeah. I'm going to go, I'll give Stiddy 20. I'm going to take 24-20. That's what I'm going to do.
24-20.
That's it?
Yeah.
You don't want 44-20?
No, you know I'm not going to do that.
Dang. Well, the chat is going 57% with the Pats, which I'm actually shocked by. I thought that would be higher for the Patriots. You guys know I've been riding with the Broncos. I think this is going to come down to turnovers, and I don't mind a backup quarterback coming in the situation because if you have a Broncos defense, I'm telling City, do not turn the ball over. Do what Sam Darnold did versus the Niners. Throw for 150 yards, get the run game going, and let your defense handle that game. That's what I'm saying. Because Drake May is going to come out and think he's Superman, and he's going to fumble the ball. He's going to turn the ball over.
For a backup, I've been there getting thrown into a starting spot. The two best things you can have, great defense, great offensive line. You guys have both.
Those.
Running game.
I still don't. Well, the running game, we'll see what JK does when he gets back. The running game has been hit and miss since week 11.
We don't run right at you.
Yeah.
It's types of run.
But you've got to worry about Milton Williams in that middle of the defense right now.
We ain't going to run at Milton Williams. Why would we run right at Milton Williams?
You're not going to. You got to work the edges, and they've got speed.
You're going to be running sideline to sideline.
They've got speed.
See how the one's doing that altitude. Big dog. Big dog. He going to look like Bane. He going to be on the sideline.
I'm glad
Suck it up, big dog.
I'm glad you said that, though, Skip, because with some of the issues he's had with the turnovers in these two games, Drake May has played two very good defenses, and he continues to make big-time throw after big-time throw. And he is a baby. This is his first time in the playoffs, but he's leaning on that comp. He has turned the ball over, but still, he's making the plays when he needs to win games. And some of those fumbles are from hits that he hasn't seen. So
got to check his hands.
Now the weather played a factor.
Baby hands.
Yeah, we need the Broncos defense to step up. But as always, you guys, this episode is presented by Underdog. And if you're new to Underdog, now's the time to get $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play just $5 on fantasy promo code GRID. We have a big weekend. It's UFC 324 and the NFL Championship games. So head over to Underdog and use 3 profit boots. Support the show, lock in your bonus, and start playing today with code GRID. Now let's get to the next game because I think you guys are going to start fighting again. But the Rams are ranked number 1 this season in total offense, and they are going up against division rival Seattle, who's ranked number 1 in scoring defense. So this is about to be an absolute thriller. Let's also not forget that Sam Darnold this year led the league in turnovers for a quarterback. So they split the series. Now we're going to find out who's going to the Super Bowl. Cody, Rams, Seahawks. Who wins? What's the score? Are you going with your buddy or not this time? Because you're not supporting the same friends today.
He don't like his
He said,
friends.
fuck my friends. I got to think about me.
That one's a little different, though. Man, this is a heavyweight fight. I can't wait to watch this game. Both teams I've been a fan of all season long. At one point in time, I said the Rams are the best team in football. Now Seattle's defense is playing really good, too. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going with Seattle. In this one, I think they get the win at home, and the main reason is because of that defense. This defense under Mike McDonald is so good. I went back and watched some of the film.
The Broncos defense is ranked higher than the Seattle defense?
You said what?
The Broncos defense is ranked higher than Seattle's defense?
Yeah, well, we just talked about the Broncos. I'm talking about Seattle right now and what they've been able to do.
The same credit.
The last 3 games, though, they're giving up 9 points per game. So you could
Let them hate, Kinsey. Let them hate.
I'm not hating. I even said last segment that Denver has a great defense. This is what New England needs to do against them to win. But now we're talking about Seattle. We're talking about Sam Darnold and Mike McDonald. But, that defense, the scheme is just so good. I went back and watched some of the tape again today. I mean, 3rd down, good luck. You tell me who's pressuring. You tell me where you're sending protection. And then you send it left, and you think you're all good, and then they bring something from the right, and they get hits on the quarterback. But also, they have talent on that roster from top to bottom on the defensive side of the ball. So it elevates that scheme even more. It won't be easy this week, though, because you're going up against the Rams, and we know what happened last time they played each other in Week 16. The Rams had 581 yards of total offense.
Oh,
it was in Seattle. 581. They also put up 37 points. Matt Stafford threw for 457, 3 touchdowns, 89 QBR, and Puka Nacua went absolutely crazy. He had 12 catches, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That can't happen again, and I don't think it'll happen again because these last 3 games, like I mentioned, they're only giving up 9 points per game. They're playing with a lot of confidence. I can't wait, though, to watch that chess match between Sean McVay and Mike McDonald. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. One thing they can't do, though, with Puka this game is you can't give him those free releases and you can't just play a 2-shell and let him attack the middle of the field. You've got to jam him at the line of scrimmage and you can't allow him to. I would like to see him too.
But that's not what they do.
I know, but they would have. I think this game, though, Aqib, learning from the last one, they've got to play a little bit more man-to-man and trust those corners on the outside.
You want them to do it totally opposite of what you just went back on film and said was so good.
Not totally opposite. I want them to make slight adjustments if they start getting hurt by Puka Nacua in this game over the middle of the field. Start playing a little Robert.
If they play single high and they come up and press Puka Nacua, that's totally different because that is not.
I know, but they have talent on the roster to do that. It's called in-game. So you're telling me if they're like, all right, this is what we do. Last game we played them, he went for 225 and 2 touchdowns. They start attacking the middle of the field with the benders and the in cuts. We're not going to make adjustments.
They
think Mike McDonald's going to sit there and
you just said you went and watched the film and it was like this scheme.
It's great.
This scheme.
And I talked about.
Why would I change that?
But there's 2 parts to that. There's 2 parts to that. It's rush and cover. They don't sit
they played about 20. They played about 19 games this year, and they ain't changed shit. Put it like that.
Yeah, but
they're gonna play 2 high tail, and they're gonna have a 4-man rush the majority of the time. They're gonna blitz occasionally, and that's how they're gonna play.
But you said it yourself. The scheme is great, yes, but you also can make adjustments in game if you're getting hurt by the same player over and over like they did last time. Anyways, I think they will make some adjustments, but what Sean McVay does a good job of those C-gap inserts, and they'll move guys around. And then offensively, Kenneth Walker has to step up again with Zach Charbonnet out. I think he will. He's coming off of the game of his life.
He is.
Went for 116 and 3 rushing touchdowns. And their coordinator, Clint Kubiak, said, we're putting this game on Ken. He calls him Kenneth Walker. He is going to have a heavier workload this game, but we trust in him. He knows that the team is going to be on his back, and I think he gets the job done running the football. And then Sam Darnold, man. Sam Darnold has to play great. But for me, great means just keep doing what you're doing. I don't need you necessarily to come out and throw for 303 touchdowns. You showed that you can go win a game with your arm against the Rams in Week 16, struggled early on, but made big-time throw after big-time throw towards the end. But the last 3 games, Skip, 150 and 1 touchdown. Got the win against the Panthers. Last 2 times against the 49ers. Don't turn the ball over. Make a big-time throw when it presents itself, like he did to JSN. A little play action, roll left, pressure in your face. I'm falling away through a dot in the back of the end zone. Just make a couple plays when you need to and lean on that defense. So I think that's what he does. It's going to be a great challenge, them going back and forth, though. But I have Seattle winning this game 20-17.
27.
That's a low
I think it's going to be low.
Ooh.
Like the first matchup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring game this time.
PJ?
Man, playoff football is simple, man. Run the ball, don't turn the ball over, and play defense. Right now, Seattle's defense with that front, Leonard Williams, the secondary, Kobe Bryant's back, brings some leadership and experience, some athleticism. I don't see Puka having the game he had when they gave up 500 yards. Even with that 500-yard appearance, it's about holding them to 3 and not 7. And that's how they won that game. They went up and down the field, but they could not get in the end zone, right? Because the defense stepped up.
Which game you talking about?
The most recent game.
You talking about the game
the
where
Rams.
they had 37.
Yeah.
Where they lost in overtime, when they had 37. They would have had 53. If they would have had 53, they didn't hold them out the end zone.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is about red zone efficiency, right?
Okay.
They got to get to Matt Stafford. They didn't sack him not one time in the last 2 meetings. No. And I think they're coming. They're going to have to bring some pressures. They can't just send that 4-man rush. But at the same time, they're going to have to protect on the back end. But protecting the football on Sam Darnold's side, throw for 200 yards. Have Kenneth Walker go crazy. I'm feeding him until he's full. Yeah. I'm going to give him the ball at least 25 times. You have to. I know the Rams, they played pretty stout against the Bears. They did. But even with all that, there was big plays out there against their secondary. I think Caleb threw in the coverage multiple times, and especially to end the game. If it wasn't for that, they would have got in field goal range and kicked the field goal to win. Even against the Carolina, Stafford threw a pick almost to end the game, and he got a second chance. I think those second chances are done with Seattle this time. I don't think he gets a second chance and a second opportunity to win the ball game. Yeah. And for that reason, I think Walker's going to go crazy. I think JSN's going to have a big game. You can't count out their tight end, Barner, but the guy who has been their saving grace, Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, my God.
Special teams. You have to be special.
Yep.
It's the outlier. Every time, it's the outlier. Even for us, Broncos, you got McMillan making plays, and then you got Marvin Mims. Those two guys. You have to have an outlier that puts you over the top when you're so evenly matched up. And Rashid is the guy for them. So I have the Seahawks winning this game at home, 12th man. It's going to be loud in there.
Yep.
Might be a little chilly, who knows, but
40 and cloudy.
yeah, 35 to
That feels
24.
nice.
35 to
35 to 24.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wow.
So they
All
gonna
right.
come beat their ass for real. That's an ass whooping to me. But you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But Shaheed is the game changer, and it's very simple to take him out the game. Just don't kick to him. I kick the ball in the end zone, give you the bitch at the 35 before I give it to him. And I'm going to kick it out of bounds. So, hey, Shaheed will not touch the. If I'm the coach, if I'm Sean McVay, hey, I'm telling the special teams coordinator, this motherfucker do not touch the ball. Hey, give it to him at the 35. I don't give a damn. Give it to him at the 35. We're not letting bro touch the ball, period. So that's how I would handle that. That's not rocket science. But I think both teams come out and run the ball good because both teams been running the ball good.
Yeah.
I think both quarterbacks come out and play well just because the Seahawks got a good defense, but Sean know how to attack that defense. The Seahawks, I don't know what Cody talking about. The Seahawks ain't gonna get out of body and do some shit they don't do in the third matchup versus a team who they had a chance to win the first game. They won the second game. I'm not getting out of body and doing nothing different. They're gonna do what they've been doing for 19 games straight. And Sean McVay, he knows how to play against that defense. So I think both quarterbacks come out and throw 222 touchdowns. They both have pretty solid games. The difference in this game will be extra possessions because of takeaways. And the quarterback who's going to turn the ball over is Darnold. We know which quarterback going to turn the ball over. The quarterback who's been turning the ball over. That's the guy who's going to turn it over. Stafford going to protect the ball. Darnold going to have 2, maybe 1 huge turnover. That's going to be the difference in this game. I like the Rams to win the thing 27-20.
27-20. All right.
2 picks dropped against Chicago.
You're acting like I'm saying, too, though, when it comes to the scheme, that they just need to change everything. No, I'll start laughing now, though.
Hey.
You know what I'm talking about, though. Saying, yes, they're heavy. They like to play a lot of too high coverage. But when you play against a team, scheme isn't just coverage, too. You can change the front. You can change the pressure look. But I'm just saying this game.
They're not going to do that.
No, they wouldn't. That's what I'm saying, though. Just sprinkle in maybe a little bit more man. Show too high, rotate to one robber. Show like you're playing 2 and then get to a 1 high look. Just don't sit back and let Puka attack the middle of the field all game long. You don't have to change everything, but just make some of those adjustments to make it a little more difficult on the Rams.
Hey, Bub. it don't matter who we playing, what they did against us before. Are we changing our defensive scheme?
Nah, you can't change your scheme. You can make a little small adjustments, but we're going to be in man. We're going to be man and cover 8 on third down.
So if you gave up 581 and 225 to one receiver,
when we came in,
we don't know what we're doing.
We added a little bit to the Patriots. We put a little,
what we do? Tell them what we added.
pepper.
So instead of playing regular,
we had a little hook in that motherfucker.
We put an extra guy on the inside and played outside leverage man.
Okay, so that's an adjustment. That's what I'm saying. Just tiny little adjustments.
But no, I think it's important. Whatever they do, they put hands on Puka early.
Yep.
Put hands on him. I don't care if it's still stay in your cover 2. We playing a jam 2. And ain't no 5 sink 2. Is on the line.
They play cover 4.
Yeah. Too high 4, sometimes some buzz, but and my middle run linebacker, motherfucker, you better get in between them hashes.
Back up.
He better get in them hashes.
Hey, if they play cover 2, if you think the Bang Ross was open last game in that 4, play cover 2.
They won't. I don't think they'll play a ton of 2. But McVay does a great job.
He's going to kill them if they ain't cover 2.
McVay will motion, though, Puka to get you off that press coverage. He'll put him on the inside, C-gap insert.
Bro, I don't care where he goes.
That's the thing with the Rams offense. Look, that's the thing with the Rams offense, bro. You can't press him.
I know.
He get tight. He get condensed. He got condensed receivers, condensed formations. He gonna motion them short motions. you're not going to be able to press him.
I agree.
He know how to get you off the press, bro. He a genius. So you ain't going to get no hands on
You're
him.
going to get hands on.
Skip, break the tie.
Insert is
What do you got,
Yeah.
Skip? I'm ready. I've been waiting. I woke up this morning waiting for you to talk about my man Sam.
For once, I agree with my man Aqib Talib.
Oh.
Skip, you always agree with me, Skip.
Yeah, deep down in my heart of hearts, I always agree with you. I'm going Rams because it's real simple to me. In the 2 games against Seattle, Matt Stafford threw 5 touchdowns and 0 picks, and Sam Darnold threw 2 touchdowns to 6 interceptions in 2 games. And Seattle plays zone. They're a zone team.
Yep.
They're not going to change the way they play their zones.
Nope.
And Matt Stafford, in his career, has shredded zone defense.
Yep.
They're not your Denver Broncos that won the Super Bowl. They don't play man. I could be surprised, but I don't think they will.
They won't.
Matt Stafford can just shred them at Seattle because I saw him do it, and you just pointed out the numbers, and he threw for 457 yards. And in this game, Sam Darnold will reemerge as Sam Darnold because he can't game manage against the Rams because it's going to be higher scoring, where he will be called upon to make big-time throws in big-time championship game moments. And I do not think he's built to do that. I don't think he's capable of that. So, look, the Rams defense is gettable. If this is the big picture on the Rams defense. Since their bye week, over the last 8 games, they've ranked 25th in points allowed. But I did see them go up to Caleb in the cold, and I know it was cold, but they did a number on Caleb, and they picked him 3 times because that was like a championship kind of defensive effort that you needed in that game at that moment against that nuclear weapon of a quarterback. So against Sam Darnold, they'll do it again. They'll get him a couple times. I don't doubt they'll strip sack him one other time. So I think he'll turn it over 3 times. And is Seattle's defense way better than the Rams? I can give you that. Especially at home, they'll be pretty good, except Seattle has gone up and down the field on the Rams twice. Even the game at SoFi, if you look at their total yards for the 2 games, it's almost like 1,000 yards. But they lost that one game. It was close. It was, 21-19. And then they lost in overtime. But Sam Darnold got away at the end of regulation with a crazy backward pass on a 2-point conversion that hit Jared Verse in the helmet, or he would have picked it, and it trickles into the end zone, and Charbonnet says, oh, well, I'll pick up the football, and that sent it to overtime because it was a live ball. Okay, so that's how you got away with that, and then you were in here the next day, and Sam Darnold played really well in the overtime. I give you that, and I think it did a lot for his confidence, but this is different. This is for all the Super Bowl marbles.
Yeah.
And I just think he'll unravel right on schedule again because he won't be able to just game manage. They're not going to do what they did against the 49ers, which is run for the last 2 games, 180 and then 175.
Right, exactly, yeah.
They won't do that against the Rams. I'm sure Kenneth, I think they're going to miss Charbonnet. I like Charbonnet. He makes a lot of plays for them. He can catch it and run with it.
Yeah.
I think they'll miss a little bit of his pop in the offense.
Especially on 3rd down.
Yeah, on 3rd down. And can Kenneth Walker get 100? He might get 100. I just don't think they're going to have 180 yards rushing.
No, I don't think so. And I think, like, Kenneth Walker all year, how do you feel about him? I had him on my fantasy team. I didn't see this crazy pop from Kenneth Walker until he went up against our Niners and ran on us like crazy. But we lost every guy in our Niners.
He
So
ran
I'm
like
not
crazy
super
against the
impressed
Rams
with.
last time. He was busting their ass.
Yeah,
He got 100 yards exactly, but the game before where they lost, he had 60.
He had 60.
So
Good
if they
point.
can stop the
They
run,
was keep turning the ball over. You can't run the ball when you throwing 4 interceptions and you only lose by 2 points.
Yeah.
In SoFi.
Bears,
So all this
I would just be
Bears-
stopping that run as much as I can, force him downfield.
the Bears did just run for 160 though.
They
Last
did.
week.
They did. They just couldn't run in short yardage because they were.
And one of those was a big Caleb took off and ran, so I'll give you that. But they had some explosive.
Right,
plays.
I was just say out of that 160, Caleb had 50 of it. Or
Yeah, he
did.
did have a big explosive play.
Okay, I just want to point out that was it a Thursday night game at Seattle, the 38-37?
Yeah.
Yep.
The Rams were ahead 30-14 with 8 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
And they blew that. And I don't think they're going to blow it this time because Sean McVay's better than that, and Matt Stafford's better than that. If you give them that kind of a cushion, they will take that one home. They'll, and I think I think they will have that kind of cushion. My score is going to be, I think they'll get to 30, and I'll give Seattle 26, but I don't think it'll feel that close. I think they'll win a convincing 30-26 game to steal some of Aqib's point structures where he says that's a blowout to him. So that's I'll do a blowout 30-26.
Oh my!
I think there's gonna be some turnovers created.
So that means it's gonna be like 30-20. They had scored late touchdown, trying to go for 2 or
and miss.
Yeah.
Skip, I get you.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Wow. So the couch is divided, but Aqib and Skip are agreeing, which is wild. The chat is also divided. 55% of you guys are going with the Rams. So barely favored on the Rams. I've been riding with the Rams for a long time. I'm going to stick with that pick, even though obviously hats off to Seattle for what they did to us. I think it's a great team. It's going to be an absolute thriller. But let's get to some coaching topics, okay? Because it seemed like a done deal that Jim Harbaugh was bringing on Mike McDaniel as a new offensive coordinator. But today, Mike McDaniel is interviewing in Buffalo for their head coaching position. And how could you pass up on coaching Josh Allen? So if he doesn't land a head coaching job, he will be with Harbaugh as the OC. So, Cody, give Jim Harbaugh hiring Mike McDaniel a letter grade if that happens.
If that happens, I am giving it an A.
Okay.
I think that would be a great hire for that offense. Now, obviously, Mike McDaniel wasn't a great head coach. He had some up and down years in Miami, but he is still one of the best offensive minds in all of football. He comes from that Shanahan tree, and that's Mike Shanahan, the OG, too. If you remember that picture that went around of all of them with Washington, you had Kyle Shanahan calling the offense, then you had Sean McVay coaching the tight ends, you had Matt LaFleur coaching the quarterbacks, and then Mike McDaniel was coaching the receivers, and all of them have gone on to have success either as a head coach or a play caller. So the background he has as a play caller speaks for itself. When he got to Miami in 2022, you saw flashes of it immediately. They had a top 10 offense, but in 2023, they went crazy. They had the #1 offense in the NFL. Skip, they average over 400 yards per game. The only team that season to do it, and they're also second in scoring offense. We saw what he did with Tua, with some of his limitations.
Agreed.
Led the league in passing yards. They had the #1 passing offense. Had 2 1,000-yard receivers with Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and also got the run game going with Mostert, who I like. I spent some time with him in Cleveland, but he got him over 1,000 yards. And then they had a young Devon Achane, who was a rookie at that time. He got 800 yards. So we know what he can do with the offense. The biggest question now is if he goes with the Chargers, can he do the same thing with that offense? I think he can. And you're not going to have a Waddle, you're not going to have a Tyreek Hill, but I like Quentin Johnston. I really do. I think he's starting to gain some more confidence and some more trust with Justin Herbert. I think next year could potentially be his breakout year. Although he regressed a little bit this season, Ladd McConkey's another good option there in the slot. I don't know what they're going to do with Keenan Allen, if he comes back, if he leaves, whatever happens there. But they also got some other rookies on the outside with Gadsden, their tight end, and then Trey Harris, the young player out of Ole Miss. In the running back room, Amarian Hampton. If he is healthy, I think he could do not as fast as Achane, but I think he can do a lot of similar things with him out of the backfield, get him in space. And then Vidal, the other guy they had, the young player.
Like him.
And then Najee. Both of those guys, a little 1-2 punch, maybe like they did with Mostert. And they did with Achane. And then Najee Harris is also the question mark there, too, with the Achilles. He only signed to 1 year, so I don't know if he'll come back. But the biggest task that Mike McDaniel is going to have is obviously Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is as talented as any quarterback in the NFL. It's now time for Mike McDaniel to come in and maximize that talent. We need to see it translate into playoff wins. We need to see it translate into consistency. We also need to protect his ass back there. I know they had some injuries with the offensive line, but you get Alt back, you get some of these other guys back, maybe get Mekhi Becton back to his form when he was with the Eagles, try to find some ways to improve that offensive line. But I think if McDaniel comes in, he can help Justin Herbert get over that hump and become the quarterback that we all want to see. Maybe not Skip, but I'm a Justin Herbert believer. I think he could be one of the best in the league if given the opportunity with the right offensive coordinator and the pieces around him. So I'm excited if they do get this hire. I think it's an A, and I think he will do some great things with that Chargers offense.
TJ?
You know what? I got to agree. I gave it an A, too. I gave it an A. I mean, the Shanahan, whatever you want to call it, a derivative of old school West Coast with a couple of ornaments on it, it's a productive offense.
Yeah.
All you got to do is put your little, do what you do as a coordinator. I mean, it ain't reinventing the wheel, but it's a great system to have, and every coach has been successful off of it. And I think Mike McDaniel's being able just to focus on the offense and not have to worry about managing personalities, managing offensive, defensive coordinators, and the everyday things that go into being a head coach, I think he's going to be much more proficient at being an offensive coordinator. And getting with Justin Herbert, man, I think it's a perfect system for it, right? He's athletic, he's tall, he can see the field, he can run, but he's not a runner. Like, that's where I think, you know, he's not Josh Allen, he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Colin Kaepernick, you know what I'm saying? He's not a runner, but he can run. He's athletic to be able to run straight forward.
Yeah.
And I think Roman's offense just put him in harm's way, especially with that, you know, terrible offensive line they had, whether it's injuries or not. But it's all about getting the ball out of his hands quick, making decisions pre-snap, getting ID motion in order, seeing if they in zone and man, and, you know, letting them run the offense like that through what's being presented and what's available from the defense, right? Don't have to drop back, you know, 40 plus times and just be Superman and make everything happen with traditional routes on the outside. Like, that's not productive in this day and age of football. Run the ball, you know, be consistent with the run and run plays and passes off of the run. So I think he's going to be very successful. I think this is amazing for Herbert. I think it's going to take his, you know, career upward trajectory. And then, you know, you let Harbaugh do everything around that offense. Put the defense together. Put the special teams together. Make those guys disciplined and accountable. And I think the Chargers, you know, they have a good future with Mike McDaniel's at OC. So I think it's an A.
Aqib, you also think an A? What do you think?
Yeah, I gave him an A too, man. I love McDaniel.
The boys are agreeing.
OC. I love McDaniels as an OC, not as a head coach. You know what I'm saying? But Bub just said it, man. You can put them goggles on, get your magnifying, your microscope, and you can really get in the lab and you start mixing shit. And you ain't got to worry about leading men, bro. You just lead the offense and be super creative. I think San Fran was running the ball probably the best when Mike McDaniel was there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So he showed he can do numbers with offense. He showed it in San Fran. I feel like that's when their offense was really hitting when he was there. He showed it in Miami. They finished with a top 10 offense 2 out of the 4 years. The 2 years they didn't finish with a top 10 offense, his quarterback missed 6 games, came back, and he really couldn't do everything he wanted to do because he got to protect his quarterback who had a terribly bad concussion. And then the next year he didn't finish in the top 10, which is this past year. His number one receiver went out very early and was out for the season. You know what I'm saying? And he still finished 13th in rushing. So I just feel like he's very creative, man. The system he brings to the Chargers is the best system in the league. He's one of the gurus, like Cody said. He's one of the gurus of this system. You know what I'm saying? So he'll have a healthy O-line, man. He had Art back in there. He know how to make his O-line look better than it is because he's so creative with these runs. San Fran do. All these guys, Sean McVay do, like guys get hurt on McVay O-line, you don't even notice because he know how to run the ball and get those guys morale up by running the ball. Yeah. And then all his passes gonna come off play action. They don't really gotta do too much drop back protection. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I love this. I love this hire for them. It's a genius move by Harbaugh, and watch he gonna have some quarterback runs just because. How much Herbert showed he can run this past season with Roman turning him into a running back. He's going to have 2 or 3 crucial situation quarterback runs in there. And it's going to be very creative. Mike McDaniel's going to dial it up because I know, hey, you could run the fucking ball now. 3rd down red zone, he's going to use his legs like no other. So I love it, man. They just need to get them. They had the O-line back. They got the quarterback. They got running backs. Now they got the OC. They got to find the number 1 receiver because I don't think the number 1 receiver is in the building yet. No. They find the number 1 receiver, free agency, draft, whatever it is, man. They find that guy. I hate that Mike McDaniel done brought his ass to the AFC West. I hate it.
All great points, but I'm going to go you guys even one more. I'm going to go A+ to Jim Harbaugh. For Jim Harbaugh. This was a shocker to me. This was a concession on the part of Jim Harbaugh that said to me that Jim decided I can't do this by myself with this quarterback. I'm not a big fan of Justin Herbert, and I this isn't 2020 hindsight. I dug in before the draft. I watched him carefully at Oregon. I don't like his feel for playing the position, but I love the package of all the measurables. They're off the charts. He's got the whole package, but he doesn't have the mental sort of command of it, the feel for it, the poise. The 3 playoff games, if you look hard at all 3 of them, they were disasters. And I think after the one at New England, Jim Harbaugh, I tweeted this, I think he sat down and said, I'm never going to win a Super Bowl with Justin Herbert as my quarterback unless I give up, unless I give the reins over to somebody else, because Greg Roman was his coordinator all the way back to his Stanford days, Harbaugh at Stanford, then Harbaugh with the 49ers, it was always Greg Roman. Harbaugh with the Chargers, always Greg Roman. I think Greg Roman was kind of a yes man for Jim Harbaugh, and because Jim ran the offense. Jim suggested the play calls. Jim designed the game plan every week because he's an offensive guy. And now he just ceded total control to the mad scientist, the little nerdy, crazy mad scientist that is Mike McDaniel. And it's great because of all the points you guys made. He took Tua and said, Tua, I need you to get rid of the ball before you think you should throw it, because those 2 guys on the outside, they can just fly. We got the 2 fastest receivers in football. Just throw it before you think you should throw it to where you think they're going to be, because they'll get there. Okay, that's what he's going to. Justin Herbert led the league in sacks taken this year. Watch what happens next year. That won't happen. Yeah. He'll get rid of the football on time, to the right place at a better time, and the running game will be even more effective than it has been because of all the points you just made. And it's beautiful. If Justin Herbert has a chance to go places, if Jim Harbaugh has chances to go places in Los Angeles, it'll be with Mike McDaniel. But Jim's going to have to stay out of the way, man, because you want to talk about potential butt heads in meeting rooms? These 2, because Jim Harbaugh is as stubborn and tough as they get. And he's just going to have to back off and say, okay, I give up. You whatever. Because you just know Mike's going to come up with some suggestions in meetings, and Jim's going to say, what?
Make these little comments, it feels like here and there.
What? Yeah. No, really? You want to do that? Well, Jim's going to have to say, okay, I back off, because it could be great. It's going to be the best way, the only way Jim has to get that team where he thinks it should be.
Wow, so A's all around
and
from
an
the
A+.
guys. And an A+.
Great A's.
Well, I mean, the Bills are still meeting with him today.
Yeah.
But you know...
He ain't gonna get that.
I don't think so either.
I ain't gonna get that.
Yeah.
I mean, another person that the Bills are apparently meeting with, where I'm shocked today. So Adam Schefter reported this morning that the Bills are meeting with Colts quarterback Phillip Rivers. His coaching experience would include St. Michael's Catholic High School. So I'm very confused by this, but Skip, is this a good idea or a bad idea to consider Rivers as head coach?
I react to how I immediately react when I hear an idea.
Yeah.
And this got me in a good way. So I think it's a very good idea to at least bring him in and talk to him. It's a very intriguing outside the box avenue to go down, just to consider, just to see what he says. Because, I know it's just high school football, but remember, Phillip Rivers' father was a longtime high school head coach. So Phillip's got coaching in his blood. He played for his father in high school. And then, for what it's worth, and it's worth a little bit, just a little bit, 5 years he's coached this little private Catholic school outside of Mobile, Alabama. For what that's worth, at least he's been the commanding officer. He knows what it feels like to run the show. And they've been pretty good. They're 44-16 over 5 years. The last 2 years, they're 25-3. They did lose in the state semifinals the last 2 years. So to Aqib's point, no chip. I don't have a chip to show for this. But Phillip Rivers made 8 Pro Bowls and proved to me he was a pretty good leader of men, because he was the leader of his football team.
He has that energy.
Right? And I always thought Phillip Rivers played more with his head than his talent, that he could see it, feel it, anticipate it, and get rid of it on time to the right place at the right time. And I like that translating into being a coach and also into just being a head coach. So I'm going to doubt that they're going to do this, but I appreciate the fact that they're thinking way outside the box. I suggested I'd make a run at Curt Cignetti because I think he's Vince Lombardi. You know, I think he's really, really good at what he does. That's what I would do. Aqib laughed at me. But you might as well just bring in Phillip and hear what he has to say because you might learn from him. You just might.
Might as well bring in everybody. Shit, we're bringing in Phillip.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay.
Bring in Lee.
Line Cody up. Line Leeb up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Fuck shit.
Okay.
Chris Harris, Jr.
everybody.
You know what I'm saying? Let's interview everybody.
Yeah. Interview me. How about that? Is that what you're saying?
Skip watch a lot of ball. Let's get
Yeah.
You'd be a good head coach.
I probably would. Actually.
Skip been watching this shit for years.
Okay,
You know
but
what I'm
I hear Aqib laughing at Phillip Rivers being interviewed.
Man, listen, this team is right there. We talking about a team who's been to the divisional
Yep.
or the AFC chip for the last 6 years.
Yep.
They don't need a rookie little baby. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the teams who need a real general who's been doing this shit,
Yep.
who they can bring in and get them over that hump, man. This is not a new guy's job to me. Some guy need a fresh voice, a young guy. Let's get the morale right in the building. This team is right there.
Yep.
They right there, man. They need somebody to come get them over the hump. I don't like it at all. I don't think that's the answer, man. It's just my personal opinion. And maybe if he won the chip a few times in Alabama,
I knew you'd say that.
and maybe if he won the Super Bowl a couple times
Yep.
versus us. Honestly, that Chargers offense was terribly simple to me. I loved playing the Chargers. We knew exactly what was coming. We knew all their checks. Painter. We knew it was a draw. It was like we knew they had the simplest shit in the world. So, man, listen, if that's the offense that he's going to bring, I don't like it, man. So it's no championship pedigree going into that building if Phillip go in there. That's why I don't like it. I think you bring some championship, bring in a guy who I won the chip before. I know what to do to get this team over the hump.
Yeah.
Or I had a dominant team in this league before. I know what to do to get this team over the hump. That's what kind of coach that the Bills need, in my opinion.
Okay, would Phillip Rivers be any riskier than Jesse Minter? Do you know enough about Jesse Minter to say, oh, that's a done deal? Like he's a slam dunk safe bet? Because I don't
feel like Jesse Minter
he won the
has
chip
coordinated and called plays versus top offenses in this league. You know what I'm saying? I can say he's done that. Phillip Rivers hasn't done that. He's been right there. He's coordinated a team to a national championship. Phillip Rivers hasn't done that. So for those two reasons, I'm going to go with Jesse Minter before I go with Phillip Rivers.
TJ?
I don't see nothing wrong with it, actually, and maybe my selfish player in me hoping I get a call one day off the couch. But nah, man, I mean, Phillip Rivers has spent his entire adult life in the NFL, whether it's calling plays, running plays, different coordinators, different head coaches. I'll take a Phillip Rivers over a Minter.
Yeah.
And that's just me because you've been in it. You've been part of those game plans. You've worked with multiple coordinators. You played the top defenses. For me, your experience is better than Minter's, who's been a quarterback coach here or a DB coach here. Now he a linebacker coach. Now he a D-line coach. You've been coaching all over, and now you're a D coordinator. So, Phillip is playing quarterback, all-pro, Pro Bowler, not a Super Bowl champ, but he's done mostly everything in this league from the player position. And we talk about ex-player empowerment, getting a lot of these players on coaching staff is in top positions. You look at Gerard Mayo, he got 1 year with no quarterback out the door. He had
a quarterback.
Who do you have? Matt?
Drake May. He had him sitting on the bench. Now, the Mayo, my guy, but he told me personally, Drake May ain't ready yet. He ain't ready
Well, he
yet.
probably wasn't ready.
He
And probably didn't have the team around him either. But what I'm saying is, I think at least the interview is not crazy. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
Go in the interview, see, what he talking about, how he will operate, what kind of coaching, he's gonna put forward, and shit. If he surprised you, you hire him. If he trash, then you don't. But at least you got to see what he's gonna offer. So
And look, I'm not saying that Phillip can't be a coach in our league. I'm not saying that. I think Phillip would make a good coach for a different team. I'm just saying for Buffalo, team who's right here. They like
I agree.
right at the hump. They're just trying to get over that hump. I don't think Phillip is the guy for that job.
Yeah.
I respect the shit out of Phillip, and I think he will make a great coach in the NFL one day. He will get a head coaching job in the NFL one day, even if it's not with Buffalo. He will be a head coach.
All right, that's fair.
I guarantee you.
Yep. And I agree with that. I think, and to your point though, like I don't mind the interview either. But if you're bringing Phillip Rivers in and he keeps talking about men are having to call plays and all these things, I think Phillip would just come in to be a motivator and a leader because he knows how to lead men in a locker room. And then let my OC, who I can work with a little bit, call the plays, and then go hire a DC to handle all those things. I'm just going to be a leader. So I agree with Aqib saying that one day he will be a head coach. But I'm with you also. I think this is a huge risk. If you were to hire Phillip Rivers right now to go be the head coach in Buffalo because they're still within that window for an opportunity to go win a Super Bowl. If it doesn't work out and you see regression immediately, then you are setting yourselves back and that window might close quickly. So I think going in and hiring a head coach that's never been a coach before in this league, I don't think is the best decision they make. Now, if they wanted him to be on staff and maybe have more of a leadership role or coach the quarterbacks, coach the offense, be an OC maybe, learn how to call plays, I wouldn't mind that at all. I think he'd be a great person to have in the building and then eventually be a head coach because I think he would skyrocket up the ranks if he did want to coach because of his time spent in the NFL. But yeah, I think right away, with it being Buffalo, it's just too big of a risk right now because of their Super Bowl.
I understand.
Yeah, that's agreeable. For sure.
What is Vrabel's greatest strength?
Experience.
He's a leader of men who played the game at a high level.
I agree.
Right?
D'Amico Ryan, same way. Like those guys.
D'Amico is the same way.
Yeah, I agree.
Although D'Amico's really keyed in with I think he really coaches the defense hands-on.
Yeah.
Okay. Vrabel's just the commanding officer. He's just above it all.
But I guarantee you, Vrabel got his hands all in what we do up front on defense, how we blitz, how we rush the. I guarantee you, Vrabel is. He's right there with the D line. He's almost the D line coach.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Yeah. But I think Phillip eventually could become a Vrabel type of a leader of a football
team. In the future. And that's what I think a lot of people.
He's fiery like that. He definitely has a command over his offense, right? And then another thing, man, you can't be afraid to get on your coach's asses. Right? A lot of these coaches, these young guys or whoever, timid guys. I was watching something with Bill Walsh and Mike Holmgren, and they were talking about how Bill Walsh wouldn't even talk to the player. He'd just get on the coach ass right in front of the player. And then the player would get his message through that and like, damn, I got to get coach up off my coach because at the end of the day, it's my fault.
Yeah.
So a lot of these coaches, I don't know if it's the age, the experience, or just the temperament, but at some time you got to MF a motherfucker out.
Yeah.
Get on his ass in front of the players, another grown man, that's your coach, your assistant coach, and let the message be sent through that. You don't got to talk to every player about what he's doing.
I like that. You got to MF and MF out.
I
like that. I like that. You got to MF. He's already in MF.
If all it takes is for a guy to be a leader of men, well, shit, leave. I'm on my way to be a head coach too.
Hey, look.
But we've been saying that.
That's what I'm saying. Get that
leader on that team.
Okay.
Everyone.
That begs the question. As the coach of your kids' teams, have you ever won a chip?
Hell yeah, we went.
Hell yeah.
We went 13 deep because a lot of kids couldn't pay. We went 13 deep to a Nationals.
Wow.
A Nationals in Florida, Skip.
Did you win?
Everybody in Florida.
Did you win?
I won plenty of chips.
You won plenty of chips?
Yeah, I got chips. We got chips. I'm by the trophy room. We got trophies.
I will say, Skip.
My young boys got trophies.
Hey, I've watched Aqib's in the back room show me clips of his son, his nephew checking bender seams at their age was too high.
We playing ball,
which is unheard of at that age. I didn't even know what cover 2 was when I was their
ball.
age. They're checking, hey, I'm crossing face, and he showed me clips. It's unreal.
Okay, well, I don't know how to validate whether he's actually won chips, but I'll take his word for it.
He doesn't believe you at all anymore.
Put it next to mini league.
Yeah. All right, on the Phillip Rivers topic, I think I agree with you guys. He can be a head coach in the league, but this man's never even played in a chip. How are we going to be the guy to get the Bills over that?
He did play in an AFC Championship game.
Yeah, but he's never played in a Super Bowl. So
Absolutely.
that's what the Bills
Okay.
need. They're like, so that's a confusing decision for me. It's like, you need to get to the Super Bowl to win a Super Bowl. This isn't the guy who's going to get you over the hump.
All right.
But let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about the Bills owners, because the Bills owner, Terry Pegula, and GM Brandon Beane probably didn't expect to make as many headlines as they did. At a press conference on Wednesday, what really stood out was the question about drafting Keon Coleman, and Pegula was quick to step in. Let's take a listen, because this is kind of
Can I
wild.
interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying
damn
Brandon
right.
wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it, but I'm here to tell you the true story.
But the one thing I love about the internet, you can always count on the internet, because they were sure to find a video of Beam talking about Coleman. So let's watch that.
Basically, when I went to bed that night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
All things considered. All things considered. Get the guy who's so the best fit. Yep.
I know this might be obvious, but so tomorrow, who are we picking?
We're just going to keep trading more. We're going to get 14 fifths, barring someone offering us something stupid. We'll take Keon. Cool.
Okay, so TJ, did you have a problem with Terry Pegula saying Brandon Beam didn't want to draft Keon Coleman? I mean, Keon Coleman's still on your team, by the way.
I mean, I was doing my research. I was finna pull that quote up before he put the video up.
Yep.
But no, I understand Pegula. I understand him trying to answer the questions that were floating when McDermott got fired and Bean didn't. So, he jumped in and answered it before Bean could even talk.
And remember, Bean got promoted.
Oh, promoted as well. Promoted.
Right.
But my whole thing is McDermott is a defensive coach, right? He's a defensive-minded coach, right?
Definitely.
That's his specialty.
Yep.
Keon Coleman was one of 2 second-round picks that year. They went and got Cole Bishop in the second round as well, a safety, right?
Yeah, who's a player.
Yeah, good player. Good player.
I watched him in college. He's a good player.
In that draft process, behind-the-scenes draft with the Bills or whatnot, you see Bean raving about Keon, about not sleeping, and he hopes he runs a slower 40 so he's available when they get there. Even on the first day after the draft, when the player comes to the facility, you don't see McDermott anywhere. He's nowhere with Keon. But when Bishop came into that building, when Bishop got drafted, McDermott was on that phone with Bishop.
Yep.
Hey, it's Sean. Nice to have you. Well, you're going to be great here. When Bishop came into that stadium to see the tour the first time, guess who was touring him? McDermott. He wasn't with Keon. So, he the owner. He can clear anything he wants, but I think it was really false in what.
So he lying. So the owner lying.
It's false in his presentation.
I mean, yeah, we just saw the video. How can
Because everything that we see, not we hear, shows a different story.
Yeah,
So
the video don't show what they do behind closed doors. You could convince me of something, Bub, and by the time we get to where the camera, you think they don't know the camera's rolling? What I'm gonna say it on camera? Nah, Bub picked this dude, but
But that's before the firing. This is all before they know it's gonna happen, though.
But once the camera's on, we are putting on the show at this point. Hey, man, yeah, I'm glad he ran that, man. Shit might make it easier for him to pick. You already convinced me that we should pick him. I'm trying to hype my damn self up at this point.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? The owner ain't lying, bro. McDermott wanted the guy. That's what happened, bro. That's probably not the only guy who McDermott vouched for, and they picked. He probably can say more guys. He probably can go down the line of guys who McDermott wanted and guys who Bean wanted. And he probably don't got time to do that shit. So, man, the owner ain't lying, man. He don't got no reason to lie about that.
I mean, he do got enough reason to protect his what he look like, because I fired McDermott and I kept a guy that made a decision on something that's not even a bad decision, because he's having a decent career up to this point. But to say that something we're seeing without that ain't a show. That's live. You know, sometimes you forget the camera's even there. Why would I do all this?
You can't do that as an owner, though.
You can't do it as an owner. That's what I'm saying. You can't really,
especially if he's still on your roster.
Yeah, because how are you going to feel if you're Keon right now?
Unless you could tell the future about what was going to happen with that draft pick, you don't put a show on like that unless it's completely true. Bean was going on and on and on and on and on about Keon through that whole process. You don't make that stuff up. You maybe do it once, but you don't do it continuously through the whole process. Like, hey, look, it was me that made this pick on Keon. Because if he would have balled, you wouldn't hear nothing about that. But because he had, some, maturity issues here or dropped the ball there, now he's a bust and I didn't pick him. Like, that's BS, man. I think it's BS.
He didn't say I ain't picking. He said McDermott is the guy who got us talking about Keon Coleman. He the one who said, hey, I like this Keon Coleman kid, woo. And he got the conversation going, bro. This was your guy more than it was my guy. And the owner, bro, he is a
McDermott ain't said one word about Keon. McDermott sitting there very quiet the whole time. Ain't say shit. When Bishop was coming up to get picked, he all in Bean ear. They leaning over talking, whoa. That's his pick.
Where those clips at? We ain't see those.
No, you got to watch the whole thing. It's an hour. I watched it. It's an hour.
Man, I ain't see those clips.
Oh yeah, I watched it. I watched the whole episode.
Owner said that was McDermott pick.
Yeah, you believe it if you want to. That's real macking right there. That's what I call that owner. He macking. He macked up on Bean and he macked up on the whole situation.
Yeah. And he a billionaire.
Yeah, he can do that. It's his team. But I don't mean he ain't lying. He could do that. He's a billionaire.
So he a billionaire. He got to lie to justify who he. It's his company.
I mean, you know how people some people lie just to lie. Some people lie. What you lying for? I don't know. You ain't got to lie about that shit. Some people just like that. I got my right hand.
He don't got to have no reason for firing McDermott. The reason is you can't get us over the hump, fam.
No,
I'm just giving them another reason.
So leave it. I'm saying leave it at that. You can't get us over the hump. Cool. Now I kept my guy. I promoted him. I don't want him to look bad. Oh, so I'm gonna just shut up.
Well, I'm gonna
tell you right now. He didn't have nothing to do with it. Like, hey,
well, that hour
and Keon's still on your roster. I think
everybody know the cameras was on. Bro, it ain't no we forgot the cameras was rolling. Nigga, we don't never forget the cameras rolling. Yeah. We know when the camera's on. We know when the camera's off. If the camera's rolling, Bean just playing his GM role. Baby, this my time to shine.
He played that like Denzel then. He played that like Denzel. That was a hell of a role. Oscar winning. I give you that.
It ain't hard.
Give you that.
All I gotta do is act like I like all the picks.
He loved it. He talking about going to sleep. I fell asleep thinking about him. Like, like that's crazy.
Cody, how you feeling?
He fall asleep thinking about it. This motherfucker done brought him up. Should I pick him or should I not? I'm going to sleep thinking, going back and forth about this shit.
I mean, remember they didn't have a first round. They needed Josh Allen needed some help.
Yeah, I think regardless of who picked them, that was unnecessary. You don't do that, man. Like you don't call out one of your players publicly in front of the media who's still on your roster. Now I understand.
Like that was a horrible pick.
Why not? That's something behind closed doors you would assume. All right, let's have a talk about maybe you missed a meeting. Let's have a talk about production. I agree, and I hope this flips the switch for Keon Coleman because I'm rooting for him. I hope he comes back. If they do trade him, that he goes and turns up somewhere else and plays well. Or if they bring him back, he says, all right, watch this shit. Because I didn't like that. I think that's just unprofessional. I don't like that you call out your own player who's a young player. I know he's a grown-ass man, but he's 22 years old. He's only in the second year in the NFL. He's still learning. Yeah, he's got to fix some of these disciplinary issues. Got to be on time to meetings. Your production has to go up on the field. But at the end of the day, if you don't like a player, if you don't think he's going to fit on your team, then cut him or trade him. Don't call him out publicly while he's still on your roster. I thought that was out of line by Pagula. I just think, that's something that could have happened behind closed doors. If you feel a certain way about a player, especially as an owner, you're not a coach that's in the meetings every day. You're not a coach that works with them on the practice field.
He's more important than the coach, and then he's way more important than all of them. This is your main boss telling you, hey, listen, he acting immature. This guy didn't pick him. McDermott was the advocate for this guy. So just put that out there.
Then say this. Then say, hey, we got Keon Coleman. He's got to step up a little bit more. He's got to be more productive. He's got to be in meetings. You can call him out that way instead of saying, hey, the guy that we just fired and is out of the organization is who picked him, and the guy we kept didn't pick him. So basically, we didn't want him at all. Everybody who advocated for him is gone.
That's the media saying what they want to say. If they the ones who saying, well, y'all pick Keon Coleman, he's a bust. That's the media saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, Pagula said that.
No,
He
but
said,
I took that. That's what
he
Pagula
said. The guy I just fired picked this
but
guy.
why is Pagula bringing this up? Because the media is saying that this guy is a bust.
Hey,
how many times have owners been in this
situation? Who gives a shit what the media says? Protect your players first, because if I'm a free agent, if I'm another player, I see the owner treating players like that, I'm not going to be like,
there, right? And you don't want to go there, right?
You already don't want to go there.
Not want to go there, but I want to know. My first question would be hey, how's it like with Pagula? What type of owner is he? What's the situation here? I saw this on. There's going to be questions raised. Now, Buffalo obviously is a place that can go win a Super Bowl.
There's been plenty of time.
We're talking about $1 million jobs, bro. Hey, if your owner get on your ass, go cry amongst yourself. Go cry in the car, man.
I'm not saying
we ain't got no time for that shit.
I hope this pissed him off and he comes back.
Yeah. I know if I'm a billionaire owner, I'm going to get on whoever I want. If you playing trash, I'm going to get on your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get on,
get the fuck on. I'll replace you with a guy who wants your contract.
There's been plenty of situations where there have been discrepancies between GMs drafting guys and head coaches drafting guys. This is the first time I've ever heard an owner come down and say, well, after I fired a coach.
But you're missing the point. You're missing the point. He's not going to be on the roster much longer.
Yeah.
Want to bet? Want to bet?
I don't want to bet.
Yeah, that's a fair take. Yeah.
They had already decided he's gone.
Then cut him or trade him.
Okay. All right. He will be. They'll try to trade him, and his value will be ridiculously low. They can't even get a 7 back for him, and then they will cut him. And here's the point. He was a healthy scratch 4 times this year for disciplinary reasons. 4 times, and the game before those 4, he was disciplined for the first series of the game and didn't play. So he's had 200-yard games in 2 years. And the one this year was the opener, remember, against Baltimore on the opening Sunday night game? He had a big game that night where he went 8 for 112. And then down the stretch this year, at New England, that game they roared back to win, he had no targets and no catches. Then against the Jets, 2 for 49. At Jacksonville, 1 for 36. And then at Denver, as you pointed out, 1 catch for 10 yards, but it was for a touchdown. But they're just saying it's over, and Pagula is trying to defend promoting the GM while firing the head coach. And to validate it, he's saying, and just for the record, I want everybody to know that behind closed doors, off camera, that Brandon Beane was fighting not against McDermott. I think it was against the offensive coaching staff. They all wanted Keon Coleman, the receivers coach, the quarterback coach, whoever it was. The offensive coaches wanted Keon Coleman, and Brandon Beane, as Pagula just said, was a team player and finally said, okay, I'll go along with it. And as Aqib points out on camera, you got to be with the group. You know, you got to say, yeah, we love Keon Coleman. We want Keon Coleman. You have to.
How would Bean look on camera saying, well, this y'all pick now,
I got nothing to do with it.
Well, no, I ain't saying he's doing that.
He could have said, like, we're not 100% sure.
You wouldn't be all, like, he made it a point to make it like it was his pick. So if he's going over and beyond to sell it, then hey,
I
went
think
over and beyond.
Over beyond.
That's what it is for me.
If you watch the hour, they recorded for 7 hours and edited it all up into 1 hour.
Yeah.
So we could sit and talk for 15 hours, and they could make me come across however they want me to come across.
So what they say?
They do the editing.
They had a guilty conscience since he didn't want to go with him, so go over the top. Since you didn't want him, go over the top on camera to make it look like you really wanted it. Like, nah.
Yeah, that was my point, Aqib. I understand this is a multi-million-dollar business. We play a kid's game for a king's ransom. Like, you play for a lot of money, and there's expectations involved, especially when it comes to accountability, being at these meetings and all of those things. I just think you can still call a player out and say, hey, Keon Coleman's got to be better at this situation. He's got to be better on the field. He's got to get better. That's something we'll deal with in the offseason. But to say the guy that picked him, we fired and Bean didn't pick him, I kept this guy and promoted him, I just think that's bad to do for someone on your roster, regardless of what the situation is. I don't think that's the way you go about it.
Like Skip said, he ain't on the roster right now.
Yeah, no. Well, he is right now, but he is right now.
Maybe if he was going to be on the roster, maybe you don't say that. But he going out the door right with me.
No, yeah, I agree.
It's your pick, you take him with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brandon Beane is still controlling the roster. So Pagula wants him to be boosted as high as he can boost his stock right now.
Yeah, because people were questioning why
They
he's
were.
getting promoted.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's trying to boost him as much as
Well,
possible.
they better find someone else out, though, because
Well,
they're
we'll see.
27th in salary cap space going into the offseason. And if you don't think he's the number one guy, which obviously hasn't shown you anything to say he's solidified that spot, better have a backup plan in place.
Yeah. All right, guys, what a fun day on the arena, but we're going to call it a day right there. We've got a big weekend. It is the NFC AFC Championship game, so you know we're going to be right here back on Monday. So catch us Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Whoop, whoop.
Whoa, whoa.